Doupo, outstanding intelligence. Starting by joining the chat group. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 26, Battle on the Edge of the Warcraft Mountains. Yan Lingjai, Xiao Fan. I'm sorry, brother Xiao Fan. It's getting late now. I'm afraid my family won't be able to find me and will be worried. After all, there was a war in the village. I'll go find brother Xiao Fan in 2 days. Blowing a kiss. Xiao Fan, it's okay. I understand. Wronger sent all of the bear paws to me. I'll give one to everyone so that you can enjoy the delicious food at home. Red envelope. Yan Lingjai received Xiao Fan's red envelope and received a bear paw. Yuan received. Zhu Yuanzhang. Huangrong received Xiao Fan's red envelope and received a bear paw. Huangrong received Xiao Fan's red envelope and received 15,256 points. Qian Renxu, Master Xiao gave Miss Huang more than 15,000 points? Shocked. Yan Lingjai, wow, so many points. I envy Sister Wronger. Envy. Yuan, Master Xiao was generous. Worship. Zhu Yuanzhang, Master Xiao was generous. Holding fists. Huangrong, oh, brother Xiao Fan, why did you send me so many points? Surprise. Xiao Fan, at Huangrong, this is a reward for your hard work. In addition, you also contributed to my finding and earning more than 5 million points. I'll give you this small change. Huangrong, I also contributed. Surprise. Xiao Fan, if I said yes, then yes. Picking nose. If Huangrong couldn't handle the bear paw, Xiao Fan asked her to send it again, and he went to the water source to clean the bear paw himself. Maybe he would have overlooked the lair of the earth-violent bear. Although Huangrong didn't know this, Xiao Fan made a lot of money, so he shared the joy. Huangrong, hee. Then thank you brother Xiao Fan. I can improve my cultivation again. Thanks, Xiao Fan. Okay. I'm going to enjoy the delicious bear paw cooked by Wronger. Eating. Zhu Yuanzhang, Xiao Fan, Master Xiao, I have a collection of good wine here. I'll send you 2 jars to try. Xiao Fan's exclusive red envelope. Xiao Fan, Zhu Yuanzhang, thank you. After saying thank you, Xiao Fan directly received the 2 jars of imperial wine presented by Zhu Yuanzhang. He drank the imperial wine while eating the delicious bear paw, which was very comfortable. The other members in the group also tasted the delicious bear paw presented by Xiao Fan. Yan Lingjai, hee. I have already started eating. This bear paw is really delicious. Delicious. Qian Renxu, it is indeed delicious. It is hard to imagine that I am eating the meat of a first-level god. Yuan, it is delicious with color, fragrance and taste. Moreover, I just took a bite and felt that there was more energy in my body. My physical strength has greatly improved, and my chi cultivation seems to have improved a little. Surprised. Huangrong, I have the same feeling. It is indeed worthy of being a land immortal level monster meat. Xiao Fan, there is indeed a certain amount of energy in monster meat, but this is just a small piece of meat. It is estimated that it is difficult to improve much. It is better to concentrate on enjoying the delicious food. This bear paw is fresh, tender and smooth, but not without strength, and the fragrance is full of mouth. Wronger, your cooking skills are great. Huangrong, hee. As long as brother Xiao Fan likes it. Happy. Everyone was enjoying the delicious bear paw while chatting in the group, and they were all very comfortable. Among them, Qian Renxu, Yuan and Huangrong, who were weaker in strength, actually improved their cultivation to a certain extent. Although Zhu Yuanzhang and Yan Lingjai did not improve their cultivation, their true chi cultivation increased a lot, and their physical strength was also strengthened. Xiao Fan drank the fine wine given by Zhu Yuanzhang while eating the delicious bear paw cooked by Huangrong, and soon finished it. After eating the bear paw, Xiao Fan casually glanced at the chat group interface, and when he saw that there was no meaningful message, he exited the chat group. It looks like it's getting late. It's time to find a place to rest. Looking up at the sky, Xiao Fan whispered, and then summoned Zhao Jin through telepathy. Kai. After a while, with a cheerful cry, Xiao Jin fell from the sky and landed beside Xiao Fan. Xiao Jin is a special pet rewarded by the system. It can become stronger as Xiao Fan's cultivation level increases. Now it has reached the realm of a 6th level high-level magic beast. Its body has become much more majestic, and its feathers are more dazzling. Xiao Jin understands that its improvement is all because of Xiao Fan. After arriving beside Xiao Fan, it immediately stretched out its wings and gently moved closer to Xiao Fan's shoulder. Xiao Fan was very satisfied with Xiao Jin's changes. "Okay, let's go. Take me to find a human gathering place on the edge of the Magic Beast Mountain Range. We will re-enter the Magic Beast Mountain Range tomorrow." Xiao Fan reached out and patted Xiao Jin's wings, giving it an order. Xiao Jin heard the words and chirped, leaning down slightly to let Xiao Fan ride. Xiao Fan moved slightly and sat directly on Xiao Jin's back. "Slow down a little, don't fly over your head." Chirp. Xiao Jin nodded and chirped, and immediately carried Xiao Fan to the periphery of the Magic Beast Mountain Range. More than 10 miles from the edge of the Magic Beast Mountain Range, a group of more than a dozen people huddled together. Almost all of them were wounded and looked very embarrassed. Around them, there was a group of ferocious monsters, surrounding them in the middle, as if ready to rush forward and eat them as dinner. In fact, these monsters had already launched several attacks, leaving several corpses on both sides, and the ground was stained with blood. Damn it, the Wind Wolf obviously doesn't live in this area. How could it suddenly find us? In the crowd, a young man with a bloody face waved his sword to repel a demon wolf, and couldn't help cursing. "I don't know what happened today. The monsters outside the Warcraft Mountain Range suddenly rioted. It's normal for these wind wolves to leave the territory. Find a way to break out as soon as possible. Otherwise when night falls, our situation will be even more dangerous." Hearing the words of the young man, a middle-aged man with a rough face next to him spoke with a serious face. "These people are from a mercenary group called Blood Battle. Surrounding the people of the Blood Battle mercenary group are the group of Wind Wolves, a group of demon beasts living in the Warcraft Mountain Range. The leader of this group of swift wind wolves is already a 2nd-level intermediate magic beast, and there are 2 2nd-level primary ones, as well as nearly 100 1st-level magic wolves in their bloody battle mercenary group, except for the middle-aged man, the leader Flay, who has the cultivation of a fighter. The others are all just fighters. Facing this group of swift wind wolves, they are almost doomed to fail. However, wolf-like magic beasts are born cautious and cunning. They don't want too many casualties, so they deliberately besiege them, waiting for the night to fall, and then use the advantages of magic beasts to completely destroy them. "I'm sorry, if you hadn't escorted me out to collect herbs today, everyone wouldn't be in danger." At this time, in the middle of the crowd, a young woman in a white dress, about 17 or 18 years old, spoke faintly. Although the woman's appearance is not stunning, she can be said to be a rare beauty. Her calm cheeks exude a fresh and ethereal temperament. What is most likely to attract attention is the woman's willow waist that is not even a hand's length. Hearing the woman's words, Flay immediately said, "Xiaoxiao, you are looking down on our Blood Battle mercenary group by saying this. Since we have accepted the mission, we are ready to face all crises." Then, the young man also said, "The leader is right. Xiaoxiao, don't think too much. No one knows that there will be a sudden monster riot in the Monster Mountain Range today." Chirp. At this moment, a loud cry suddenly sounded in the air. Hearing the sound, a group of wind wolves trembled and knelt on the ground involuntarily. Xiaoxiao and the people of the Blood Battle mercenary group also changed their expressions and subconsciously looked up at the source of the sound. Please collect, recommend, monthly, 5-star praise, and reward. All data is okay. Thank you for your support. Chapter 27, First Meeting with Little Medical Fairy. Traveling through the Duo world, they saw a flying monster beast that they had never seen before, flying out from the inside of the Monster Mountain Range. The monster beast was covered with golden feathers, and under the fading twilight, it was shrouded in a faint halo, looking particularly majestic. What shocked them even more was that on the back of the monster beast, there was actually a very young man sitting upright. The young man had a handsome face and outstanding temperament. Under the light of the pale yellow twilight behind him, he even had a sense of sacredness. This scene was like a god riding a mountain suddenly descending to the mortal world. There is no doubt that this was Xiao Fan, who came from the central area of the monster mountain range on a golden winged rock. When the people of the Blood Battle mercenary group saw Xiao Fan riding the majestic flying monster beast and descending in front of them, they all looked at Xiao Fan with respect. Even Xiaoxiao couldn't help but deeply imprint Xiao Fan's figure in her heart at this moment. Xiao Fan was originally driving Zhao Jin to the outside of the monster mountain range, preparing to find a city or town to stay for a night. As for the dirty and messy places in the monster mountain range, he didn't want to live there. At Xiao Fan's request, Zhao Jin's flying speed was not very fast. Xiao Fan had already noticed Xiaoxiao and her group when they were a few miles away. Originally, Xiao Fan didn't intend to pay attention to them. After all, there were countless adventurers who died in the monster mountain range every year, and it didn't matter if there were more of them. Xiao Fan didn't want to meddle in other people's business. However, after hearing the name of Xiaoxiao, Xiao Fan's heart moved slightly, and he ordered Zhao Jin to fly to the crowd. Before Xiao Fan traveled through time, when he read the original book, he liked the character of Xiaoxiao very much, and he also felt deeply sorry for her. Now that he had met her, there was no reason to miss her. Xiao Fan didn't expect it to be such a coincidence that on the first day he entered the monster mountain range to hunt monsters, Xiaoxiao also happened to enter the monster mountain range. In fact, if it weren't for the battle between Xiao Fan and the Earth Bear, which frightened some of the monsters in the middle of the monster mountain range and caused them to flee, Xiaoxiao and the others would not have been besieged by these swift wolves. These monsters were scared to death by the aftermath of the battle between Xiao Fan and the Earth Bear, but after meeting Xiaoxiao and the others, they changed their faces and treated them as food. Xiao Fan also had some guesses in his mind, but he was naturally not stupid enough to say it out loud. Zhao Jin, get rid of these guys. Xiao Fan casually glanced at everyone, especially at Xiaoxiao, and stayed for 2 more seconds, and then gave Zhao Jin an order. Zhao Jin heard Xiao Fan's order and immediately flew towards the group of frightened swift wolves, and in an instant, he got rid of all the swift wolves. Flay and the others looked at this scene and were shocked again. This group of demon wolves that almost put them in a life-and-death crisis was destroyed so easily. Flay was the first to come to his senses. He stepped forward, clasped his fists and saluted towards Xiao Fan, and said solemnly, "I am Flay, the leader of the Blood Battle mercenary group. Thank you for saving me. What is your name?" Xiao Fan smiled and continued, "I just happened to pass by. It's just a small favor." "You're welcome, Flay. It turns out to be Mr. Zhao." "Thank you again, Mr. Zhao. Your small help is a life-saving grace to us." The young man who complained before also said at this time, "The leader is right. If it weren't for Mr. Zhao's rescue, I'm afraid that Kagyang's life would have been lost here today." "The leader and brother Kagyang are right. Thank you for saving my life, Mr. Zhao." The other mercenaries also echoed. The little medical fairy in the crowd also expressed her gratitude to Xiao Fan. Seeing this, Xiao Fan smiled slightly, and did not continue to make excuses. He changed the subject directly. "By the way, I am not familiar with this area. Do you know how far the nearest town is from here? It is getting dark, and I am going to find a place to stay." Flay laughed. "Mr. Zhao, you have asked the right person. There is a town called Qingshan about 10 miles away from here. Many people who go to the Magic Beast Mountain range for adventure and training will choose to stay in Qingshan Town." Qingshan Town? Xiao Fan was not surprised to hear this name. In the original book, when Xiaoxiao first appeared, she lived in Wanyaozhai in Qingshan Town. Xiaoxiao often hired people to escort her to the outskirts of the Magic Beast Mountain range to collect herbs, and generally would not leave Qingshan Town too far. Xiao Fan said, "That's quite a coincidence. Are you going back to Qingshan Town?" Flay nodded and said, "Yes, if you don't mind, you can go with us. We have lived in Qingshan Town for many years and are very familiar with the town." "Then I'll trouble you." Xiao Fan pondered for a moment and nodded in agreement. Cry. At this moment, the cry of an eagle came from not far away, and a blue eagle flew towards the crowd excitedly. Chirp. Seeing that a monster dared to come here, Zhao Jin immediately made a threatening sound, spread his wings and planned to kill this ignorant monster. "Mr. Zhao, please ask your partner to stop. That blue eagle is my partner." Seeing this, Xiaoxian hurriedly pleaded with Xiao Fan. When they encountered danger before, Xiaoxian asked the Blue Eagle to fly farther to avoid being hurt. Although the Blue Eagle was not very spiritual, it was very attached to Xiaoxian and did not leave too far. When it saw that the swift wolves had been dealt with, it immediately wanted to return to Xiaoxian. The Blue Eagle thought that Xiao Jun was a companion of the master's friend and would not hurt it, but it ignored the fact that Xiao Jun did not know it at all. Xiao Jin, stop! Xiao Fan heard Xiaoxian's words and immediately ordered Xiao Jin. Xiao Jin heard Xiao Fan's order and immediately drooped his wings lazily again and stayed where he was. The Blue Eagle was frightened by Xiao Jin's action just now, and coupled with the pressure of the high-level magic beast, it fell directly from midair. Xiao Fan flashed and took it in his hand, then returned to Xiaoxian. I'm sorry, Xiao Jin didn't know that this Blue Eagle was your partner. Xiaoxian took the Blue Eagle with both hands and said quickly, Mr. Xiao, you don't have to apologize. You didn't know Xiao Yan, so there was a misunderstanding. I also want to thank Mr. Xiao for taking Xiao Yan. At this moment, the Blue Eagle was still in fear and trembled in Xiaoxian's hands. Xiaoxian stretched out her hand to comfort it for a while, and the Blue Eagle regained its calm. After this, the relationship between Xiao Fan and Xiaoxian became inexplicably closer. Xiaoxian's partner, the Blue Eagle, became Xiao Jin's follower. Next, Xiao Fan followed Xiaoxian and others to Qingshan town. Along the way, Xiao Fan didn't even need to take action. Xiao Jin just released a little bit of pressure, and no monsters approached them. Not long after, the group returned to Qingshan town. At the invitation of Flay and Xiao Fan and the others had another dinner together, then said goodbye to Xiao, Flay and the others, and checked into a superior guest room at the inn in Qingshan town. The next morning, Xiao Fan woke up from his sleep amid the hustle and bustle of many adventurers in Qingshan town. After a simple breakfast, Xiao Fan once again immersed himself in the Wanji chat group. He signed in as usual, and then at Qian Renxu. He had already agreed with Qian Renxu to go to Duo World today. Xiao Fan, at Qian Renxu, Miss Qian Renxu, when is it convenient for me to go to your world? Xiao Fan just sent a message and soon received a reply from Qian Renxu. Qian Renxu, at Xiao Fan, Mr. Xiao, I'm inviting you now, please agree. Huang Rong, Brother Xiao Fan and Miss Qian Renxu, are you also ready to meet in person? Snickering, Yan Lingjai, Brother Xiao Fan, don't let Miss Qian Renxu seduce you away. Naughty, Xiao Fan, at Huang Rong, at Yan Lingji, stop talking nonsense in the group, practice hard. Xiao Fan, at Qian Renzu, okay. Xiao Fan just sent 2 messages and received a notification from the chat group. Qian Renzu invited him to travel through the world. Xiao Fan no longer paid attention to the messages in the group and directly chose to agree. In a flash, he traveled to the Duo world through the chat group. Please collect, recommend, praise, monthly ticket, reward, and all data. Thank you for your support, Brother Edison and Brother Yanzu. I wish you all happy every day and make a fortune every year. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28 Surprise Reward, Soul Beast Battle, Duo World, Zhengdu Great Forest. After Qian Renxu joined the chat group, she learned about the tragic fate she might face and the function of chat group points, so she came to Zhengdu Great Forest and wanted to hunt soul beasts to earn points. What Qian Renxu regretted was that the points exchanged for soul beasts were too few. However, there were countless soul beasts in Zhengdu Great Forest, and Qian Renxu was ready to win by quantity. Even last night, she stayed in Zhengdu Great Forest overnight. In such a dangerous place as Zhengdu Great Forest, Qian Renxu did not have a deep sleep and woke up very early, so she saw the message sent by Xiao Fan as soon as possible and invited Xiao Fan. Qian Renxu was also quite curious about Xiao Fan, a powerful group member. In Qian Renxu's expectation, a light gate suddenly appeared above Zhengdu Great Forest. Then, a young man in a green shirt, handsome face and outstanding temperament flashed out of the light gate. There is no doubt that this person is Xiao Fan, who came from Doupo world through the chat group. Seeing this, Qian Renxu's eyes lit up. Are you Mr. Xiao? Xiao Fan smiled and said, yes, I am Xiao Fan. It seems that you are Ms. Qian Renxu. While speaking, Xiao Fan also looked at the saint of the spirit hall in front of him. She looked to be in her early 20s, with skin whiter than snow, a straight nose, slightly slender phoenix eyes, and a noble temperament in her stunning face. She was tall and plump, wearing a golden palace dress, which seemed to be woven with gold silk, without too many patterns and decorations, and the style was simple and elegant. The golden stand-up collar protected her snow-white and slender neck, and her long golden hair was loosely draped behind her, forming a sharp contrast with her neat palace dress. As expected, she is one of the top 3 beauties in the Duo world, and even in the hearts of many readers, she is more popular than the heroine Zhao Wu. When Qian Renxu heard what Xiao Fan said, a slight smile appeared on her face. I didn't expect that young Master Xiao was so young. He looks even younger than me, but he already has such powerful strength. Xiao Fan smiled and said, if it weren't for the help of the chat group, my strength would not have improved so fast. With the help of the chat group, it is not impossible for your upper limit of strength to exceed the God King of this world in the future. Qian Renxu said, I don't dare to expect too much. I just hope that I can improve my strength normally, instead of becoming a god by sacrificing my grandfather. Xiao Fan smiled and said, with the help of the chat group, it will definitely be possible. Speaking of which, I also want to thank young Master Xiao for lending me the points before, Qian Renxu said softly, stroking her long golden hair. Xiao Fan casually said, it's just 1,000 points. Miss Qian Renxu doesn't need to take it to heart. These 1,000 points are given to Miss Qian Renxu, so you don't have to return them. Really? Thank you, Mr. Xiao. Qian Renxu smiled and continued, I'll take Mr. Xiao to visit our world. Xiao Fan nodded slightly. Okay, then I'll trouble Miss Qian Renxu. Then, Qian Renxu took Xiao Fan to the outside of the Zhengdu Great Forest, introducing the customs of the Duo world to Xiao Fan while they were on the way. Xiao Fan responded casually, and silently issued a sign-in command to the Wanji sign-in system in his heart. Ding! Sign-in successful. Congratulations to the host. You have obtained a 7-color soul crystal. Note: after use, it can greatly increase the host's soul energy. Good stuff. Hearing the content of the system reward, Xiao Fan couldn't help but feel happy. As mentioned before, if you want to break through the doubty, the strength of the soul is also one of the indispensable elements. Xiao Fan already had the soul refining art, a top-level soul cultivation method. If he practiced it step by step, he would be able to break through the Emperor Realm soul sooner or later, but it would definitely take a lot of time. Now with this colorful soul crystal, Xiao Fan no longer has to spend time and effort to practice. Roar! Before the two left the starred Great Forest, they suddenly heard bursts of roars from the depths of the starred Great Forest. At the same time, there were battle waves that almost shook most of the starred Great Forest. Hearing that wave, Xiao Fan's heart couldn't help but move slightly. Miss Qian Renxu, why don't we go to the depths of the starred Great Forest to see the battle between powerful soul beasts? I would also like to see powerful soul beasts. Qian Renxu heard Xiao Fan's words, her face changed slightly. Mr. Xiao, in the depths of the starred Great Forest, it is said that there are several powerful soul beasts that have lived for more than 100,000 years, and their strength is comparable to that of human tidal Buo. Qian Renxu said halfway, and suddenly realized that Xiao Fan could kill a magic beast comparable to a first-level god. Although a 100,000-year soul beast is powerful, it is far inferior to a first-level god. Thinking of this, Qian Renxu smiled bitterly. Sorry, Mr. Xiao, I am too narrow-minded. With your strength, a 100,000-year soul beast is nothing in front of you. Xiao Fan chuckled when he heard it. Miss Qian Renxu, you are also considering your safety. There is no need to apologize. Let's go and see the battle between the soul beasts. Immediately, Xiao Fan and Qian Renxu rushed to the place where the fighting waves came from. After traveling for a while, Xiao Fan found that Qian Renxu was too slow, so he released the golden winged rock, This is my pet Xiao Jin. Let's ride on its back. Qian Renxu was a little ashamed. Sorry, I'm a burden to Master Xiao. Xiao Fan smiled and said, don't apologize all the time. We are friends, and it's only right for friends to help each other. As he spoke, Xiao Fan took Qian Renxu and sat on Xiao Jin's back. Xiao Jin made a cry and quickly went to the source of the soul beast's fighting fluctuations. Friends? Qian Renxu looked at Xiao Fan sitting beside her, and thought of what Xiao Fan had just said, and she couldn't help but feel a little warm in her heart. Xiao Jin's current strength is comparable to that of a first-level god in the Duo world, and his speed is extremely fast. In just a moment, he had already rushed to the sky above the center of the battle. At Xiao Fan's signal, Xiao Jin restrained his aura and pressure, so the soul beasts below did not discover them. Xiao Fan and Qian Renxu sat on Xiao Jin's back, watching the battle below. There were 3 soul beasts in the center of the battle. One of them looked like an ape or a chimpanzee, except for a pair of lantern-sized eyes that shone with a yellow crystal-like luster. It was completely black. Every part of its huge body was covered with strong muscles that were more terrifying than granite, like a raised hill. Beside him was a soul beast with a bull's head and a snake's body. The diameter of the bull's head was at least more than 4 meters. Its large eyes, like 2 lanterns, were shining brightly, connected to a huge snake body that was black and blue and several times thicker than a water tank. The 2 of them looked like a group, but the one fighting against them was a giant tiger with a pure black body. The giant tiger's red eyes were full of gloomy aura. It was more than 8 meters long, with a scorpion-like evil god hook on its tail, and a pair of black wings on its body. It's the Titan giant ape, the azure bull python, and the dark demon evil god tiger. These are all powerful soul beasts of the Duo continent. Qian Renxu recognized the soul beasts fighting below at a glance, and couldn't help but exclaimed. With her current strength, facing any of these 3 soul beasts, she would probably die. Please collect, recommend, monthly votes, 5-star praise, rewards, and all data support. I wish readers who support this book a prosperous source of wealth and all the best. Chapter 29 The Wrath of the Evil God. Xiao Fan was a little surprised to see the 3 soul beasts fighting. In the original work, it was only briefly mentioned that the dark demon evil god tiger was driven out of the Xingdu Great Forest by the Titan giant ape and the azure bull python. Perhaps it was after this battle that the dark demon evil god tiger was forced to leave. The dark demon evil god tiger was indeed very strong. It fought 1 against 2 and was very impressive. From time to time, it sent out black and red light blades to the azure bull python and the Titan giant ape. With the thick skin and flesh of the Titan giant ape and the azure bull python, their skin was cut open and wounds were left on their bodies. The Titan giant ape rushed forward without any scruples, as if it had no sense of pain, allowing the dark demon evil god tiger to attack, while it quickly collided and hit the dark demon evil god tiger. Although the dark demon evil god tiger was very fast, because of the influence of the azure bull python's slow field, it would occasionally be hit by the Titan giant python, or hit by the Titan giant python's fist that was like a small mountain. The dark demon evil god tiger was also very uncomfortable when it was hit once in a while. The 3 soul beasts fought each other frantically. Within a radius of dozens of miles, all soul beasts were scared and fled in all directions, fearing that they would be killed by the aftermath of their battle. Roar! After the 2 sides fought for more than an hour, the dark demon evil god tiger was finally no match for the Titan giant ape and the sky blue bull python. It roared angrily and turned to gallop towards the outside of the starred great forest. At this moment, an illusory giant hand flashing with purple lightning suddenly descended from the sky. Bang! With a loud bang, the dark demon evil god tiger was directly slapped into the ground by the terrifying giant hand and lost its life on the spot. On the body of the dark demon evil god tiger, there were even more terrifying arcs of lightning flashing. When the sky blue bull python and the Titan giant ape saw this scene, their faces suddenly changed. They subconsciously protected a certain position and looked up at the sky with vigilance. Under the nervous gaze of the 2 beasts, an extremely majestic flying soul beast slowly descended from the sky. On the flying soul beast, there were 2 figures, a man and a woman. They saw at a glance that the woman's strength was insignificant, while the man was as unfathomable as the sea. There was no doubt that the ones who fell from the sky were Xiao Fan and Qian Renxu riding on Xiao Jin's back. The giant thunder palm just now was just a thunder palm print that Xiao Fan casually sent out. The azure bull python and the titan giant ape did not recognize Xiao Jin, and subconsciously thought of it as a soul beast. They also felt a great threat from Xiao Jin. Xiao Fan was able to subdue such a powerful soul beast as a mount, and killed the dark demon evil god tiger with one palm, which made them feel fear in their hearts. The azure bull python pretended to be calm and said, "Human, what is your purpose for coming here?" Xiao Fan brought Qian Renxu down from Xiao Jin's back, glanced at the azure bull python and the titan giant ape, and smiled playfully. "I'm here to hunt a few soul beasts to get soul rings. Is that a problem?" Roar. The titan giant ape couldn't speak, but could understand human language. When he heard what Xiao Fan said, he immediately roared angrily, "Ming, calm down." The azure bull python scolded the titan giant ape, and then said to Xiao Fan, "I can feel that your strength has already surpassed the limit of the titled Buo. You don't need soul rings at all, right? Not bad. You're quite smart." Xiao Fan nodded and praised the azure bull python. Suddenly, his face changed slightly, and he quickly dodged to the side with Qian Renxu. Swish. At the same time, a blade of light full of evil suddenly passed the position where Xiao Fan and Qian Renxu had just stood. Swish. A sound like a knife cutting tofu rang out, and the light blade easily cut the azure bull python in half. "You are the incarnation of a despicable guy who actually killed the messenger of my great evil god." At the same time, a gloomy and evil voice sounded faintly from the corpse of the dark demon evil god tiger. Xiao Fan looked in the direction of the voice, and saw that the dark demon evil god tiger seemed to have suddenly come alive, with a pair of dark red eyes, looking at him strangely. At this moment, the dark demon evil god tiger was obviously very wrong. Xiao Fan suddenly remembered that the original book vaguely mentioned that the dark demon evil god tiger was the messenger of the evil god, and it had part of the evil god's soul in it. Roar. Before Xiao Fan could respond, the titan giant ape on the side suddenly roared, and then went crazy, waving his fists like a hill, and smashed towards the dark demon evil god tiger. "You lowly and ignorant ant, dare to offend the great evil god. This god will grant you death." The dark demon evil god tiger made a cold and ruthless voice, and then a light blade shot out from his body again. The titan giant ape's seemingly powerful defense was useless under the light blade. Swish. After a clear sound, the titan giant ape was directly split in half from top to bottom by the light blade. It's a long story, but in fact it was just a matter of a moment. Ming. Ming. After the sky blue bull python and the titan giant ape were killed one after another, a petite figure suddenly emerged from under the huge body of the sky blue bull python, and cried out in grief. There is no doubt that this figure is Xiao Wu, the heroine of the original work. The sky blue bull python was worried that Xiao Wu might be hurt in the battle between them and the dark demon evil god tiger, so it used its huge python body to block Xiao Wu. Therefore, Xiao Fan had not noticed Xiao Wu before. "Oh, there's an ant hiding there?" The red eyes of the dark demon evil god tiger looked at Xiao Wu, and a ruthless voice came out of its mouth again. Xiao Fan's heart moved slightly at this time, and he took a step forward and stood between Xiao Wu and the dark demon evil god tiger, and said lightly, "Dark demon evil god tiger, or I should call you the evil god, I don't care if you kill soul beasts, but I won't let you kill people in front of me." Xiao Fan knew that Xiao Wu's true form was the soul beast soft bone rabbit, and he just said it deliberately for the others to hear. Xiao Fan knew very well that the dark demon evil god tiger had been killed by a palm just now, and now it was not that the dark demon evil god tiger was resurrected, but the soul of the evil god was revived in the dark demon evil god tiger for some reason. When the evil god heard what Xiao Fan said, he said grimly, "You really know me. Tell me, which god in disguise are you? How dare you go against the rules of the god realm and come to the lower world, and you also killed my messenger." "I will never let you go," Xiao Fan said indifferently. "You think too much. I am not any god in your god realm." The evil god said coldly, "Do you think I will believe what you said? Since you don't say it, I will show you your true face." Sword of Judgment. The evil god shouted coldly, and immediately used a big move on Xiao Fan. This move was developed by him with great effort in order to deal with the Golden Dragon King split from the Dragon God. This shows that the evil god attaches great importance to Xiao Fan, his enemy. Please collect, recommend, vote, give a monthly ticket, give a 5-star rating, give a reward. Please give me all the data support. Thank you all handsome guys and beautiful girls. Bo. Chapter 30. The horrific war shocked the world of gods. The evil god was a god king level existence, one level higher than Xiao Fan. Although the evil god is now just a soul possessed by the dark demon evil god Tiger, the combat power it exerts should not be underestimated. Following the action of the evil god, a sword light suddenly appeared in the Xingdu Great Forest. Almost everyone and soul beasts in the entire Xingdu Great Forest saw the terrifying sword light. In the center of the Xingdu Great Forest, opposite the evil god, Xiao Fan looked at the terrifying sword light with a slightly solemn expression. Dragon power. Xiao Fan shouted in his heart, first exerted the dragon power, and then put the index finger and middle finger of his right hand together, and a terrifying arc of lightning came out from his fingers. It was the highest level fighting skill that Xiao Fan mastered now, the Thunder Tribulation Finger. I don't know if it's because of the different worlds. Xiao Fan found that the Thunder Tribulation Finger he used now seemed to be many times more powerful than when he used it in the Qi world. Boom! As the terrifying arc of lightning shot towards the evil god, a thunderous sound suddenly rang out in the sky. The next moment, the sky above the starred Great Forest was dark, as if it had fallen into doomsday. In the sky, a huge calamity cloud condensed. Boom! With a deafening sound, a terrifying arc of lightning suddenly radiated from the calamity cloud, instantly merging with the arc of lightning emitted from Xiao Fan's fingertips, and then suddenly bombarded the body of the dark demon evil god Tiger possessed by the evil god's soul. Bang! With a bang, the body of the dark demon evil god Tiger was directly blasted into slag by the terrifying thunder tribulation. That area was also blasted into a giant pit hundreds of feet deep by the terrifying thunder, and there were constant arcs of lightning flashing in the pit, like a thunder purgatory. Ah, damn it, this god will definitely avenge today. Then, the evil god's soul broke away from the body of the dark demon evil god Tiger, let out a roar, and suddenly dissipated in the starred Great Forest. Whether it was the dark demon evil god Tiger or the evil god, they were all mainly cultivating the energy of dark evil attributes, and were naturally restrained by the power of thunder. The evil god's soul was attached to the dark demon evil god Tiger, and it could not exert its full strength at all. The dragon's might restrained it, and the attributes were restrained, so Xiao Fan won the victory of this battle with just one move. Of course, the evil god did not die, but this part of the soul was annihilated by the power of thunder. The main body did not die, but it was definitely seriously injured. Boom! At this time, the sword of judgment sent by the evil god also fell fiercely in the starred Great Forest, directly in the center of the starred Great Forest, cutting a terrifying gully of about 100 feet. In the starred Great Forest, countless soul beasts sensed the aftermath of the battle between Xiao Fan and the evil god, and all fled in fear. As for Xiao Fan himself, he was only slightly affected and did not suffer any harm. Qian Renxu and Zhao Wu were stunned by the terrifying battle between Xiao Fan and the evil god. Zhao Wu was so shocked that she even temporarily forgot the grief in her heart. Zhao Jin, on the other hand, was not affected at all. After dealing with the evil god, Xiao Fan looked at Qian Renxu and Zhao Wu. "Are you okay?" Qian Renxu shook her head and said, "Thank you for your concern, young master. I'm fine." Zhao Wu came back to her senses from the extreme shock when she heard Xiao Fan's voice. "I'm fine, thank you for avenging my two friends. I took action because the evil god attacked me first." Xiao Fan shook his head slightly, and then pretended to be surprised. "You said these two soul beasts are your friends? Also, how come you came to the depths of the starred Great Forest alone?" Zhao Wu also heard the conversation between Xiao Fan and the evil god just now. She was worried that Xiao Fan was hostile to soul beasts. She changed her mind and said softly, I was in the starred Great Forest when I was young. These two soul beasts took care of me and raised me, and they also protected me. Otherwise, I would have become food for other soul beasts long ago." Xiao Fan nodded slightly, So that's the case. What are your plans now? You definitely can't continue to live in this dangerous starred great forest alone. Dao Wu shook her head sadly. I don't know either. Dao Wu didn't lie about this, although she was also a 100,000-year-old soul beast. She didn't have much strength because she chose to follow the path of human cultivation. Without the protection of Daming and Erming, she couldn't survive in the Xingdu Great Forest. Other soul beasts would not attack her just because she was a soul beast. Xiao Fan suggested. In that case, you should leave the Xingdu Great Forest with us first. My friend has a lot of connections in the human world, so he can arrange a place for you. Qian Renxu was very suspicious of Xiao Wu's identity, but she didn't show it on her face. After hearing Xiao Fan's words, she smiled and said to Xiao Wu, "Hello, my name is Qian Renxu, and this is Mr. Xiao." Xiao Wu responded, "Hello, my name is Xiao Wu." At this time, a soul ring condensed on the bodies of the Azure Bull Python and the Titan Giant Ape. In addition, the Dark Demon Evil God Tiger, which had been shattered into slag by thunder, also contributed a soul ring. Seeing this, Xiao Fan said to Qian Renxu, "Miss Qian Renxu, go and absorb the spirit rings of the Azure Bull Python and the Titan Giant Ape." As for the spirit ring of the Dark Demon Evil God Tiger, Xiao Fan did not let Qian Renxu take the risk of absorbing it, and directly uploaded it to the chat group mall to exchange for points. What disappointed Xiao Fan was that the spirit ring of the Dark Demon Evil God Tiger was only exchanged for 30,000 points. Xiao Wu's expression changed slightly when she heard Xiao Fan's words, but she didn't say anything after all. After all, Daming and Erming were already dead. Even if no one absorbed the spirit rings they were born from, the spirit rings would soon dissipate in the world in the form of energy. These two spirit rings are very important to Qian Renxu at the moment. She pondered for a moment and accepted Xiao Fan's kindness. Qian Renxu glanced at Xiao Wu, and then said, "Okay, I'll have to trouble Master Xiao to help me protect the law. It's a small matter." Xiao Fan nodded slightly and agreed. Next, under Xiao Fan's protection, Qian Renxu absorbed the spirit rings born from the bodies of the Titan Giant Ape and the Azure Bull Python. In addition, Qian Renxu obtained a spirit bone from each of the Titan Giant Ape and the Azure Bull Python. However, she had a legacy spirit bone that she could not absorb and use, so she exchanged it for chat group points. Qian Renxu naturally suffered a lot of pain. However, with Xiao Fan's help, Qian Renxu finally succeeded. "Thank you, Mr. Xiao. You helped me again." After absorbing the spirit rings and spirit bones, Qian Renxu thanked Xiao Fan softly, and then said, "Mr. Xiao, please put away the bodies of these two spirit beasts." Qian Renxu's intention was naturally to let Xiao Fan take the Azure Bull Python and the Titan Giant Ape to the chat group mall to exchange for points. However, in front of Xiao Wu, she said it more obscurely. At this time, Xiao Wu said weakly, "Mr. Xiao, can you please not damage the bodies of Daming and Erming? I can take you to collect the treasures collected by Daming and Erming in exchange for their bodies." Xiao Fan hesitated for a moment and nodded. Okay. Xiao Fan had learned from Qian Renxu before that only a 1,000-year-old soul beast could be exchanged for a few thousand points. The Azure Bull Python and the Titan Giant Ape were estimated to be only tens of thousands of points. The soul ring of the Dark Demon Evil God Tiger just now can probably confirm this. For Xiao Fan now, tens of thousands of points are not too precious, so he might as well do a favor to Xiao Wu. What's more, the Azure Bull Python and the Titan Giant Ape have lived for more than 100,000 years, and the treasures they collected can probably be exchanged for a lot of points, and maybe there is still money to be made. When Xiao Wu heard Xiao Fan agreed, her face was immediately filled with gratitude. "Thank you, Master Xiao. Master Xiao, Miss Qian Renxu, please follow me." Xiao Fan nodded slightly, and then he and Qian Renxu followed Xiao Wu to find the treasures of the Azure Bull Python and the Titan Giant Ape. What Xiao Fan didn't know was that the battle between him and the evil god had already alarmed the God Realm. God Realm. In an ancient palace, the evil god was originally practicing, and suddenly felt a tingling pain in his soul. "Damn it, who killed my evil god messenger and destroyed part of my soul?" The evil god suddenly opened his eyes, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. Please collect, recommend, vote, reward. and 5-star praise. All data is fine. In addition, the editor notified that the monthly subscription will start at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Thank you to all the readers who have followed all the way here. I beg all readers to support me tomorrow. The performance on the first day of the book is very important. The author is going to make a living by writing. I hope he won't starve to death. Your support is the author's motivation to keep writing, to make the performance better. Tomorrow's chapters will be released around 8 p.m. I will try my best to update it. You don't have to wait for updates at other times. Finally, thank you again to all the readers who support this book. I wish you all academic success, gaming superb, all the best, and a lot of money. All the best wishes are for you. Bowen, thank you. Chapter 31. The God King has arrived, shocking the world. Not only the God of evil, but also the God of goodness, the God of life, the God of destruction, the God of Shura, and other gods, also sensed the horrific battle that took place on the Duo continent. How could there be a war of gods on the Duo continent? Moreover, there is the breath of the evil God King. Sensing the horrific battle breath and the breath of the evil god, the gods were all greatly surprised. The God of goodness, the God of life, the God of destruction, and the God of Shura, who were all members of the God Realm Committee, all rushed to the palace where the God of evil was. Soon, the 4 great gods gathered in the palace of the God of evil. Seeing the turbulent breath of the God of evil, the God of goodness's expression changed slightly. Evil, are you injured? Today, the God of goodness and the God of evil are both first generation, and they are also the 2 most powerful God Kings in the God Realm. In terms of strength, the God of evil is also extremely powerful. The God of goodness did not expect that the God of evil would be suddenly injured. The God of life, the God of destruction, and the God of Shura also changed their expressions slightly. Even the God of destruction and God of Shura did not dare to say that they could win against the God of evil. They could not help but feel wary of the being that hurt the God of evil. The God of evil said calmly, I did an experiment on a soul beast in Duo continent and left a soul fragment. I didn't expect that the soul beast was killed by a sneak attack. My soul fragment should have been destroyed in the battle with the opponent, causing a little damage to the origin of my soul. Upon hearing this, the God of kindness could not help but relax. So that's the case. However, the opponent who was able to destroy a soul fragment of yours must have reached the God level. Has a new God been born in Duo continent? Knowing that it was not the God of evil who was injured, the worries of the God of destruction, God of Shura and God of life were gone. God Shura said, as a law enforcer in the God realm, since a new God has appeared in the lower world, I will go to investigate the situation. If they meet the standards, they may be absorbed into the God realm. If they are a troublemaker in the world, they should be killed. As soon as God Shura finished speaking, the God of evil immediately said, don't bother God Shura, I will go to Duo continent myself. Although God Shura is one of the 3 law enforcers, his status is slightly lower than that of the God of evil. After hearing the words of the God of evil, he pondered and said, that's good. God of good said, evil, don't deliberately target the new God because of personal grudges. Among the 5 members of the God Realm Committee, the God of good has the same status as the God of evil and has a closer relationship with the God of evil. Hearing that the God of evil decided to go to the lower world himself, he persuaded him. The God of evil smiled evilly and said, don't worry, as long as he knows what's good for him, I won't kill him. The God of evil did not make an absolute guarantee, leaving enough room for his next action. The God of kindness frowned slightly, but didn't say anything. After all, the God of evil was one of the rulers of the God realm, and it was understandable that he would be angry because someone had destroyed a part of his soul. The 3 gods of destruction, life, and Shura said nothing. Soon, the gods dispersed, and the God of evil directly used his magical powers to break through the space barrier and headed towards the location of the Star Forest in Duo continent. Duo continent, Star Forest. Under the leadership of Xiao Fan and Qian Renxu soon found the treasures of the Azure Bull Python and the Titan Python. Xiao Fan didn't say anything polite and took all the treasures for himself. Xiao Fan first selected some medicinal materials that could be used for alchemy, and then uploaded all the other items to the chat group and exchanged them for points, a total of 120,000 points. Xiao Fan was not very disappointed about this. After all, the level of Buo continent cannot be compared with that of Qi continent, so it is normal for things to be of lower value. Afterwards, Xiao Fan did his best to help Wu bury the Azure Bull Python and Titan Giant Ape directly near the nest where they originally lived. After burying the Azure Bull Python and Titan Giant Ape, Xiao Fan said to the two women, "Let's go." Qian Renxu naturally had no objection to this. Xiao Wu looked at the place where she had lived for many years with nostalgia, and followed Xiao Fan and Qian Renxu silently. Boom! At this moment, a terrifying sound suddenly came from the sky above the Zhengdu Great Forest. The terrifying sound even spread throughout the entire Duo continent. Almost everyone on the Duo continent looked up at the sky. I saw that the originally azure sky suddenly had a crack for some reason. The crack gradually became larger, and from the crack, an extremely powerful and evil figure slowly stepped out. Duo continent, between the Tandu Empire and the Xingyuo Empire. This is the Holy Land of Buo continent, where the Wuhan Palace of Wuhan City is located. The Pope of the Spirit Hall, Bibidong, and the elders in the Spirit Hall all looked up at the crack in the sky and the extremely terrifying figure with solemn expressions. Could it be that the evil God King has descended in person? Looking at the hazy figure in the sky that revealed a powerful and evil aura, Bibidong couldn't help but exclaim in shock. As the Pope of the Spirit Hall, Bibidong naturally knew many things that ordinary people didn't know. Bibidong also had a certain understanding of the general information of the gods in the god realm. 7 Treasure Glazed Tile Sect, Sect Master Ning Fengzi, and the two elders, Bone Buo and Sword Buo, also saw this strange phenomenon in the sky at this moment. Uncle Bone, Uncle Sword, this situation, could it be that the gods have descended? I wonder what happened in Buo continent that caused the gods to descend. Ning Fengzi looked at the movement in the sky and couldn't help but exclaim in shock. Bone Buo and Sword Buo looked at each other, and then said in a deep voice, "Just today, there seems to be a very terrifying war in the Xingdu Great Forest. It should be related to this." Ning Fengzi heard this and looked towards the direction of the Xingdu Great Forest thoughtfully. Tandu Empire, Fasno Province, Holy Soul Village. The young Tang San was still hammering iron blocks according to the requirements of his father Tang Hao. Seeing the strange phenomenon in the sky, he couldn't help but wipe his eyes, his face full of disbelief. Tang Hao in the house no longer looked like a drunkard. With a pair of piercing eyes, he stared at the powerful figure in the sky, wondering what he was thinking. At the same time, the Hashan sect, the Blue Lightning Tyrant sect, the Tandu Empire royal family, the Xingliuo Empire royal family, and even the Slaughter City and the Sea God Island all paid attention to the great changes in the sky. They were also very curious about the purpose of the gods' descent to the world, and at the same time, they acted more carefully. At this moment, in the Xingdu Great Forest, Xiao Fan naturally noticed the strange phenomenon in the sky. "The evil god is here, you two don't resist. I will put you into a treasure first. I'm afraid I won't be able to take care of you later." Xiao Fan's face showed a solemn expression, and he told Qian Renxu and Zhao Wu. Without waiting for Qian Renxu and Zhao Wu to react, Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and he took out the source tower from the system space and forcibly put the two women into it. Afterwards, Xiao Fan and Zhao Jin looked up at the sky and waited for the evil god to come. First update, please collect, recommend, give 5-star praise, reward, and all data support. Thank you all handsome guys and beautiful girls. I wish you all a great fortune. Chapter 32, Is the battle between gods just a rant? To be honest, Xiao Fan himself is still unsure of what level he is at in the Duo world. However, judging from the fact that he killed the dark demon evil god Tiger with one palm and easily defeated the evil god Soul, the group leader's inference that a high-level Twang is equivalent to a first-level god should be credible. In addition, Xiao Fan has a physical strength equivalent to a 7th-level high-level magic beast, and the blood of the real dragon in his body has not been fully refined, which is also one of his confidence. Even if Xiao Fan has no power to fight back against the God King, he can directly return to the Dqi world through the chat group. Although Xiao Fan has always been cautious and steady, he can't just run away without even seeing the enemy, right? Not long after Xiao Fan put Qian Renxu and Zhao Wu into the Source Chi Tower, the evil god had already arrived above the Xingdu Great Forest. After all, the evil god has the strength of a god king. As soon as he arrived, he sensed the breath of the dark demon evil god tiger and the breath of his own soul. It was you who killed my messenger and destroyed a part of my soul. Are you ready to face death? The evil god stood in midair, looking down at Xiao Fan below, and spoke in a cold and ruthless voice. Xiao Fan took a look at the evil god in midair, and saw that his whole body was wrapped in a black light column. He could only vaguely judge his human form, and the aura emanating from his body was indeed quite strong. However, it seemed that he was not much stronger than himself, and it was estimated that he was only as strong as a Zhang. Sensing the approximate strength of the evil god, Xiao Fan breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that the so-called God King was not too strong. Thinking in his heart, Xiao Fan flashed slightly and sat on Zhao Jin's back, whispering, "Zhao Jin, get on." Although Xiao Fan, a 7-starred Huang, can now stand in the air for a short time, in order to ensure his combat effectiveness, Xiao Fan decided to fly on Zhao Jin. Moreover, Zhao Jin's cultivation strength was comparable to his, and the man and the beast could cooperate to attack the enemy. Human, you dare to ignore this god, you are looking for death. Xiao Fan killed the dark demon evil god tiger and also destroyed the evil god's soul. The evil god was already very dissatisfied. Seeing Xiao Fan ignoring him, he was even more murderous. The evil god's soul could not tell whether Xiao Fan was the incarnation of the gods in the god realm, but the evil god could easily tell that Xiao Fan was not a god, but just a powerful human. At this time, Xiao Fan took Zhao Jin and flew to the opposite side of the evil god. He said casually, "Do gods fight by talking? If you want revenge, just do it. Why are you talking so much nonsense?" Okay. It has been many years since no creature dared to provoke this god like this. Since you are determined to die, this god will not care about kind words. The evil god was furious when he heard Xiao Fan's words. He shouted coldly, and then put his hands together, mobilized the divine power in his body and gathered them in his hands. With the action of the evil god, a dark lightsaber dozens of meters long suddenly appeared between his hands. It was the evil god's ultimate move, the Sword of Judgment. Xiao Fan smiled faintly. "I've already experienced this move." When the voice fell, Xiao Fan also used the Thunder Tribulation finger again. Soon, thunder rolled again in the sky, and the terrifying thunder fell from the sky, merging with the lightning arc on Xiao Fan's fingertips, and suddenly struck the evil god. Boom! The lightsaber and the lightning arc collided, and a roar suddenly sounded in the air. All the flowers, plants and trees within a radius of dozens of miles were destroyed into fragments by the aftermath of the two people's attacks, flying everywhere. The ground behind the two people also left hundreds of feet of terrifying gullies again. After the attack, the two people instantly pulled thousands of meters away. The evil god sneered and said, "The thunder attribute attack power is indeed powerful, and it also has a certain restraint on the attributes of this god. Unfortunately, your realm is still a little bit worse." Saying this, the evil god was also quite shocked by Xiao Fan's combat power. In the eyes of the god of evil, Xiao Fan was only at the initial stage of the first-level god, but his fighting power was not much worse than that of the god king. Ahem. Xiao Fan felt a little uncomfortable under the attack of the god of evil, adjusted his breath a little, and said with a smile, "You are not bad." The sword of the god of evil directly broke the power of thunder, and then bombarded Xiao Fan's shoulder. Fortunately, Xiao Fan's physical strength has reached the level of a 7th-level high-level magic beast, otherwise this sword just now would at least have seriously injured him. Xiao Fan's physical body is strong enough, so after being attacked, he only felt a surge of blood and chi, and did not suffer any injuries. There was only a shallow scar on his shoulder. Despite this, Xiao Fan also knew that he was not the opponent of the god of evil now. If he continued to fight, it would only be a matter of time before he was defeated. After all, Xiao Fan remembered that the god of evil had a super artifact, the Scale of Judgment, which had not been used yet. Xiao Fan just thought of the Scale of Judgment, and suddenly saw the god of evil took out the scale of judgment from somewhere and held it in his hand. You are indeed quite capable, and your physical strength is not much different from that of the dragon god back then. To show my respect, I will send you off with the scales of judgment. The evil god made a gloomy voice, and then held the scales of judgment and used the sword of judgment again on Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan understood that even if he could take this blow blessed by the super artifact, he would probably be seriously injured. Thinking in his heart, Xiao Fan directly ordered Zhao Jin to retreat through the power of his mind. He was not used to being abused. However, Xiao Fan did not choose to return directly to the Qi world, because Xiao Fan suddenly thought that he still had a trump card that he had not used. In the Doupo world, the cultivation of soul power is the main thing. The higher the level of soul power, the stronger the strength. Soul power is naturally the power of the soul, and the 7-color soul crystal he signed in is the treasure that enhances the power of the soul. Originally, Xiao Fan was going to return to the Qi world and use the 7-color soul crystal again. Now he is going to use the 7-color soul crystal directly to enhance his soul power. If the soul level is increased fast enough after using the 7-color soul crystal, surpassing the evil god, then he can counter-kill. Although Xiao Fan has always been steady and cautious, and always develops in a wretched way in the world of fighting spirit, if he has the opportunity to crush the enemy, he is of course willing to choose to punch hard. Zhao Jin's speed is far faster than the same level of magic beasts. After receiving Xiao Fan's order, he instantly took him to fly more than 10 miles away. Boom! Behind them, the evil god used the sword of judgment cast by the judgment scale to directly destroy 1/5 of the Xingdu Great Forest. Among them, I don't know how many unlucky soul beasts died tragically under the blow of the evil god. Damn it! You can't run away. After the evil god hit, he found that Xiao Fan had already left his attack range. He couldn't help but shout angrily and chased Xiao Fan fiercely. Second update, please collect, recommend, ask for 5-star praise, ask for rewards, and ask for all data support. Thank you all handsome guys and beautiful girls. I wish you all fortune. Chapter 33 Natural Disaster. Tang San's death. Xiao Fan ignored the angry evil god, rode on Zhao Jin's back, randomly chose a direction and quickly left, and at the same time took out the 7-color soul crystal from the system space. Human, hand over what you have in your hand, and this god can spare your life. When the evil god saw the 7-color soul crystal in Xiao Fan's hand, his eyes suddenly became hot, and he shouted at Xiao Fan, "Fool!" Xiao Fan cursed in a low voice, swallowed the 7-color soul crystal without hesitation, and then madly practiced the soul refining technique to refine and absorb the soul energy in it. Xiao Fan had learned from the system before that there are 2 ways to use the 7-color soul crystal. You can bring it with you on weekdays to practice soul skills to refine and absorb, or you can swallow it directly to refine and absorb. Of the 2, swallowing it directly to refine and absorb is faster, so of course he chose to swallow it directly. God Realm. A magnificent palace stands tall. This is where the God Realm Committee is located. The main hall of the palace is octagonal in shape. Every wall around it has countless scenes changing, which manifests the scenes of all the lower realms controlled by the God Realm. The 4 gods, kindness, life, destruction, and Shura, gathered at the God Realm Committee at this moment, paying attention to the light curtain representing the Duo continent. When they saw that the god of evil seemed to have some difficulty dealing with Xiao Fan, the 4 gods were all surprised. When they saw the 7-color soul crystal that Xiao Fan took out, they were all greatly shocked. Even the 2 gods of kindness and life, who had relatively kind personalities, could not help but desire the 7-color soul crystal. However, before they could react, they saw Xiao Fan swallow the 7-color soul crystal in one gulp. The god of destruction looked gloomy. Damn it, such a treasure was swallowed by that human. It's really a waste of heaven. The god of Shura said coldly, this bold human dared to blaspheme the gods. He has already died. The god of kindness sighed. Originally, the evil should have listened to my advice and given him a way to live. But it's a pity that he was so bold as to provoke the evil. I'm afraid the evil will not stop until he kills him. The god of life persuaded, sister has done what she should do. The rest may be God's will. Xiao Fan certainly didn't know what happened in the God realm. Even if he knew, he wouldn't take it to heart. At this moment, Xiao Fan was frantically running the soul refining technique to refine and absorb the 7-color soul crystal. Xiao Fan found that after swallowing the 7-color soul crystal and using the soul refining technique to absorb and refine it, his soul realm improved quite quickly. In just a few breaths, his soul realm reached the perfection of the mortal realm, and soon broke through to the primary level of the spiritual realm. In the original novel, Xiao Yan had reached the Zhong realm, and it was only at the end that his soul realm broke through to the primary level of the spirit realm. At that time, Xiao Yan only had a few incomplete soul cultivation techniques, so he felt like his head was about to explode. Xiao Fan had the soul refining technique that could directly reach the Emperor Realm soul, so naturally this situation would not happen, and after breaking through the primary level of the spirit realm, he continued to improve rapidly. Behind Xiao Fan, the evil god was full of gloomy and angry, and kept chasing Xiao Fan. Unfortunately, Xiao Jin's speed was too fast. Even if the evil god's realm was higher than Xiao Jin, it would be difficult to catch up for a while. In anger, the evil god chased Xiao Fan and Xiao Jin's figures, while issuing terrifying attacks. Because the evil god was a certain distance away from Xiao Fan and Xiao Jin, his attack had weakened a lot when it reached Xiao Jin's back. While Xiao Jin was flying quickly, he flapped his wings and rolled up a terrifying storm, which directly swept the evil god's attack aside. Boom! As Xiao Jin moved, most of the attacks from the evil god fell on the ground crowd of Buo continent. Xiao Jin could resist or even divert these attacks, but for the people of Buo continent, even those titled Buo, facing this violent and evil attack, there was only one way to die. Therefore, in the process of the evil god chasing Xiao Fan and Xiao Jin, there were unlucky people on Buo continent who died tragically under the aftermath of their attacks, and for many people on Buo continent, this seemed to be just a terrible natural disaster. Standu Empire, Fasno Province, Notting College. Yu Gang was just studying his martial arts academic theory. After discovering the shocking changes in the sky, he subconsciously looked up at the sky like everyone else. Suddenly, Yu Gang heard bursts of angry curses in the sky, as well as terrifying battle fluctuations. It's really enviable. I will never have the opportunity to fight as a soul master in this life. Yu Gang sighed with some regret. Boom. The next moment, a terrifying sword light suddenly fell from the sky and slashed down at his location. Yu Gang didn't react at all, and ended his failed life. When the other people from Notting Academy heard the noise and came to check carefully, they only found Yu Gang's broken body. Oh no, the master is dead. A panicked voice rang out in Notting Academy. Also in the province of Fasno, a village called Holy Soul Village, Tang Hao swept away his drunkard appearance of the past, and together with his precocious son Tang San, he paid serious attention to the strange phenomenon in the sky. Sensing that the strange phenomenon was coming from far away, Tang Hao's face changed drastically. Tao San, find a place to hide quickly. While speaking, Tang Hao suddenly burst out with a powerful momentum, as if he was going to fight the enemy in the sky. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The next second, the terrifying sword light and the violent hurricane came at the same time, directly tearing Tang Hao to pieces on the spot. Dad! Tang San only had time to cry out in pain, and soon he followed in Tang Hao's footsteps. At the same time, on Luo continent, countless people died in the aftermath of the battle between the evil god and Xiao Fan. Yu Gang and Tang San and his son were just two microcosms. At this moment, in the sky, Xiao Fan, who had been chased by the evil god for nearly an hour, had broken through to the spiritual realm perfection. After breaking through to the spiritual realm perfection, Xiao Fan found that it would take even longer to continue breaking through. Moreover, Xiao Fan could feel that he no longer had any pressure facing the evil god behind him. So, Xiao Fan chose to stop refining the 7-color soul crystal in his body. Xiao Fan stood up, stood on Xiao Jin's back, and ordered Xiao Jin to stop. What? Knowing that you can't escape, are you ready to beg for mercy? Unfortunately, it's too late. You have angered this god, and this god must cut you into pieces and destroy your soul. The evil god saw Xiao Fan and Xiao Jin stop, and couldn't help but speak coldly. Xiao Fan couldn't help but sneer when he heard this. Silly. Stupid human, you deserve to die. Seeing Xiao Fan's attitude, The evil god's pent-up anger finally broke out. While shouting, the evil god directly pushed the scales of judgment to the extreme and launched the ultimate attack on Xiao Fan. Dragon power. Xiao Fan did not question it at all, and directly used the dragon power on the evil god. At the same time, he mobilized the power of the soul to form a soul sword and slashed it hard at the evil god's forehead. The third update: please collect, recommend, give 5-star praise, reward, and all data support. Thank you all handsome guys and beautiful girls. I wish you all a great fortune. Chapter 34. Destroy the God King with one move and head towards the God realm. When Xiao Fan deduced the soul cultivation method, he not only referred to the effect of dragon power, but also integrated the soul capturing ability in the 9-yin manual into the method. Therefore, when his soul strength is sufficient, he can also use the soul deterrence technique similar to dragon power on humans. Under the dual effects of dragon power and soul deterrence, the attack of the evil god could not help but pause slightly, and his soul was in a trance. Buzz. At this time, a trembling sound rang out, and Xiao Fan used the invisible and intangible soul sword to slash the soul of the evil god without any hindrance. Plop. The next moment, the body of the evil god fell heavily from the sky, leaving a terrifying human-shaped giant pit on the ground of Buo continent. Xiao Fan looked at the attack from the evil god and frowned slightly. He condensed an invisible and intangible giant hand with the power of his soul and directly crushed the terrifying sword light on the spot. Then he waved his hand casually, and all the aftermath of the attack flew into the sky. Bang, bang, bang. Then, bursts of explosions sounded in the sky, like a grand fireworks display. Xiao Fan glanced at the sky casually, and then he and Zhao Jin quickly landed on the ground. Xiao Fan glanced at the corpse of the evil god lying in the huge pit, and his mind moved slightly, trying to upload it to the chat group mall. Upload failed. Can't redeem points? Seeing the prompt of the chat group mall, Xiao Fan couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. Originally, Xiao Fan was still thinking that it was at least the corpse of a god king comparable to the Zhong realm, and maybe he could redeem a lot of points. In that case, he would go directly to slaughter the god realm, and it is estimated that he could improve his cultivation a lot. Unfortunately, this wishful thinking did not work. Looking at the corpse of the evil god that continued to exude an evil aura, Xiao Fan couldn't help but frown slightly. If such a corpse is left here, I am afraid that the human beings within a radius of thousands of miles will gradually be affected and become evil. Xiao Fan was a little confused. This guy full of evil aura was actually the God King who was in charge of the God realm and even countless human worlds. Isn't this a trap? After a while, Xiao Fan shook his head slightly, put away his messy thoughts, and then moved his mind slightly, releasing Qian Renxu and Zhao Wu from the Yuanqi Tower. Mr. Zhao, are you okay? Qian Renxu immediately expressed her concern after seeing Xiao Fan. Zhao Wu stood aside silently and didn't say anything. After all, she and Xiao Fan were not familiar with each other. Xiao Fan shook his head slightly. I'm fine. I killed the body of the evil god. I just have a headache. What should I do with his body? Do you have any suggestions? Although the strength of the evil god is not particularly strong, it may be due to the rules of the world. In the Buo world, the evil aura emitted by the evil god is very difficult to eliminate. Hiss. When Qian Renxu heard Xiao Fan's words and looked at the huge corpse next to her, she couldn't help but take a breath of cold air, and her heart was extremely shocked. As the young master of the Wuhan Hall, Qian Renxu still knew a lot about the gods. The angel god who supported the spirit hall was only a first-level god. This evil god was the king of the gods, in charge of the gods and countless supreme gods in the human world. Such a powerful god was killed by Xiao Fan. Qian Renxu couldn't help but have a new understanding of Xiao Fan's strength. Although Zhao Wu didn't know as much about the gods as Qian Renxu, she at least knew that the evil god was one of the kings in charge of the gods. Seeing that the evil god was killed by Xiao Fan, she was also extremely shocked. After a while, Qian Renxu came back to her senses and said in deep thought, perhaps we can use the angel's holy light to purify these evil auras, but my strength is too weak. I'm afraid it will be difficult. Xiao Fan raised his eyebrows slightly. Forget it. I'll take him directly to the god realm, so as not to pollute the Buo continent. Qian Renxu was surprised and said, Mr. Zhao, Are you going to the God realm? Xiao Fan nodded and said, yes. When I was fighting with the evil god, I felt a sense of being spied on. If nothing unexpected happens, it should be the gods of the God realm who did it. If I kill the evil god, I will be an enemy of the God realm. They will find me sooner or later. In this case, I might as well take the initiative to kill them in the God realm. After the voice fell, Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and he put the body of the evil god into the system space. Of course, the super artifact judgment scale was naturally not dropped. For safety reasons, you can enter my treasure again, Xiao Fan said, and his mind moved slightly, and he put Xiao Wu and Qi on Renxu into the source tower. Then, Xiao Fan drove Xiao Jin and sword straight up to the sky. God Realm. The four gods of the God Realm Committee were gathered together at this moment, paying attention to the scene of the evil god chasing Xiao Fan on the Duo continent. However, they never thought that in such a short time, Xiao Fan would suddenly kill the evil god. Although they didn't know what Xiao Fan was thinking, they couldn't help but feel fear in their hearts just by seeing the evil god being killed by Xiao Fan. If the evil god is the second among them, no one dares to claim to be the first. Otherwise, the evil god would not have become the most powerful god king. Even the evil god was killed by Xiao Fan. If they confronted Xiao Fan, wouldn't it be a dead end? The god of life said with a trembling voice, "Did you see clearly how the god of evil was killed by that human?" The god of destruction's eyes flickered, and he said in a deep voice, "The soul of evil has been wiped out." The god of sure continued, "It must be the effect of the seven-colored crystal just now." The god of kindness was a little sad. Evil died in Duo continent. What should we do next? What to do? To avenge the god of evil? No one wants to risk death to do something that is of no benefit to themselves. The god of destruction was silent for a while, with a cruel look in his red eyes. "I suggest that we wipe out the Duo continent directly and let this person be strangled by the turbulence of time and space." The god of life felt a little reluctant to hear this. "If we do this, the creatures on the Duo continent will be somewhat innocent." God Shura said, "Perhaps we can bring this person to the God realm, and we can work together to get rid of him." The god of kindness suddenly said at this moment, "Maybe we don't need to do anything. He will take the initiative to come to the God realm." Hearing the words of the god of kindness, the three gods of destruction, Shura and life also saw the scene above the Duo continent. "It's really a dead end." The god of destruction licked his lips, with a bloodthirsty light in his eyes. The god of life reminded, "Destruction, don't be careless. The four of us will join forces and attack with all our strength to directly kill him and restore peace between the God realm and the Duo continent." God Shura said, "I will directly open the passage to the God realm to avoid wasting too much time." After the voice fell, God Shura operated and directly tore a crack passage above the Duo continent again. Seeing this scene, Xiao Fan couldn't help but laugh. "Interesting, Xiao Jin. Let's go kill a few more gods." "Chew," Xiao Jin chirped, and quickly flew into the God realm with Xiao Fan through the passage. The four gods of the God realm committee not only did not hide, but also deliberately waited for Xiao Fan to arrive, ready to surround and kill Xiao Fan. So Xiao Fan quickly found the location of the God realm committee. As soon as Xiao Fan and Xiao Jin arrived near the God realm committee, they sensed a huge black thunderball, which suddenly flew towards them. There was a layer of blue and purple on the edge of the entire thunderball. The thunderball contained a storm of destruction, and the idea of destruction reached its extreme. Bang! When the thunderball was not far from Xiao Fan, it suddenly exploded, and the terrifying destructive force almost completely enveloped Xiao Fan and Xiao Jin. This is the powerful attack move of the God of Destruction to destroy the world. The fourth update: please collect, recommend, ask for 5-star praise, ask for rewards, and ask for all data support. Thank you all handsome guys and beautiful girls. I wish you all fortune. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35, God Killing in Progress. On the open space outside the God Realm Committee, the God of Destruction looked at his masterpiece and smiled cruelly. Didn't they say that we gods can only talk? This god will let him see the means of God. The god of life reminded, the means of that human are not weak, don't be careless. The god of kindness and the god of Shura just looked at the direction of the explosion with a solemn expression, and did not say anything. Your attack power is not good, the body of the evil god has not been completely destroyed. At this time, a teasing voice came. The four gods looked in the direction of the voice, and saw that at the location of the explosion just now, Xiao Fan and Xiao Jin were not hurt at all, but there were a few more broken pieces of corpses, and the one that was blown to pieces by the power of destruction was the body of the evil god. Although Xiao Fan's physical strength is strong, if he is hard against the blow of the god of destruction, he will naturally not be unscathed. But at the critical moment, Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and he took Xiao Jin to hide in the source tower. Not only that, Xiao Fan also threw the body of the evil god out to bear the baptism of the power of destruction. When the explosion was over, Xiao Fan reappeared from the source tower with Xiao Jin. Damn it, the god of destruction was secretly proud just now, but he didn't expect to be slapped in the face in an instant. His face was immediately full of anger. He shouted angrily and took out his super artifact, the scepter of destruction. The body of the god of destruction suddenly swelled up in the wind, like an ancient giant rising from the ground. At the same time, the scepter in the hand of the god of destruction also surged. A group of terrifying purple light, with his body as the center, spread out to the surroundings and turned into a purple ball of destruction. Feeling the terrifying power of the aura of destruction, the three gods of life, kindness, and Shura also subconsciously pulled a few points away from the god of destruction. As the aura of the god of destruction surged, almost all the gods in the entire god realm sensed it, and they were suddenly shocked and doubtful. What happened? Why did the god of destruction suddenly get furious? Who has the ability to force the god of destruction to such an extent that he even used the scepter of destruction? The aura of the evil god king had erupted once before, and then it seemed to have gone to the underworld. Could it be related to this? While the gods were discussing, some brave gods could not help but fly towards the direction of the God Realm Committee to check the situation. At the same time, outside the God Realm Committee, Xiao Fan felt the aura of the God of Destruction, and his expression was slightly solemn. Although according to Xiao Fan's judgment, the God King of the Duo God Realm is indeed at the same level of Zong in the Qi world. However, this is the Duo God Realm after all. They can use some of the power of the origin of the world, which is not something that Zong can do. However, this ability is ineffective for him. Thinking in his heart, Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and he once again displayed the magical power of the dragon, and at the same time the soul deterrence function was directly activated. The next moment, the God of Destruction, whose aura was originally surging and ready to launch the strongest attack, suddenly had a brief relaxation of his pupils. Buzz. At this moment, the three gods of kindness, life, and Shura all sensed a wave of soul fluctuations and suddenly headed towards the god of destruction. Destruction, be careful. The god of life showed a worried look in his eyes and warned loudly. However, the god of destruction did not react at all. Plop. The next second, the huge body of the god of destruction fell heavily on the ground, and lost its breath in an instant. Boom. The huge body of the god of destruction, coupled with the terrifying breath of destruction, actually made the god realm tremble. After a while, the body of the god of destruction shrank back to its normal size. Hiss. Some of the gods who had just arrived here saw the huge body of the god of destruction collapse, and they couldn't help but take a breath of cold air, and were horrified in their hearts. That was the god of destruction. How could he be killed so inexplicably? Destruction. The god of life cried out in pain, and instantly flew towards the body of the god of destruction, holding the body of the god of destruction in his arms, with a look of grief on his face. Xiao Fan was a little confused. Kindness and evil are inseparable, and life and destruction are directly husband and wife. Swish. At this moment, Xiao Fan suddenly sensed that a terrifying killing aura was suddenly attacking him. It turned out that the Azure god directly poured all his divine power, at the cost of igniting the Azure bloodline. His body and sword became one, his soul became one, and he used the Azure blood sword. Within a radius of dozens of miles, the whole area was filled with a terrifying killing aura, and the air was full of blood-red color. The sword of judgment, Xiao Fan shouted in his heart, and directly used the scales of judgment to perform the trick of the god of evil. This was when the god of evil attacked Xiao Fan several times, and Xiao Fan used his heaven-defying understanding to imitate and learn the moves. With the blessing of the scales of judgment, the power was not bad. Boom! The two terrifying ores suddenly collided in one place, and they actually directly created a crack in the space. Dang! After the terrifying breath shook, the two super artifacts, the Shura sword and the judgment scale, also collided fiercely, making a loud noise that almost shattered the space. Then, Xiao Fan and Shura god flew backwards tens of thousands of meters. Seeing this, the gods who had just come to watch hurriedly retreated to avoid the aftermath of the battle between the two. Puff! Xiao Fan's face turned slightly pale, and he couldn't help spitting out a mouthful of blood. In the attack with Shuri God, he was still at a disadvantage. So that's it. Shuri God's eyes lit up, as if he understood something, whispered in his mouth, holding the Shura sword, and attacked Xiao Fan again. What if you found it? Xiao Fan smiled coldly, and immediately used the Dragon Might and Soul Deterrence again without hesitation. Shuri God was flying towards Xiao Fan's body and suddenly stopped, and there was a brief loss of consciousness in his eyes. Soul Sword. Xiao Fan would certainly not miss the good opportunity he created for attack. He condensed his soul into a long sword and instantly slashed at the Azura God. Plop! The next second, the Azura God followed the footsteps of the God of Destruction. His body in midair fell directly to the ground and soon lost its breath of life. Xiao Fan's mind moved, and he directly put the Azura sword into the system space, and then turned to the remaining God of Kindness and God of Life. It's over, Xiao Fan whispered, and the simple attack method was repeated again. Soon, the God of Life and the God of Kindness were also annihilated by Xiao Fan, but on their faces, there was a faint smile. It seemed like they were embracing death, or were they happy to die with the one they loved? It's a long story, but it actually happened too quickly. The gods who were watching didn't even have time to react before the battle was over. At this moment, the gods were horrified. They didn't know how this terrifying strong man who killed the 4 great gods in succession would treat their other gods. Xiao Fan naturally discovered the gods around him, and even many gods from farther away who had not come here. Xiao Fan was also thinking about how to deal with the remaining gods. The 5th update: please collect, recommend, give 5-star praise, reward, and all data support. Thank you handsome guys and beautiful girls. I wish you all a great fortune. I will continue to work hard on typing and strive to update one more chapter. Withdraw. Chapter 36. Who is in favor and who is against? Actually, these so-called gods did not offend Xiao Fan, and killing them would not earn points. After a brief pause, Xiao Fan looked in the direction of the gods around him and said calmly, "Is the angel god among you?" Hearing Xiao Fan's words, the gods present subconsciously looked at one of the figures with a bright aura. There is no doubt that this person is the angel god, one of the 18 first-level gods in the god's realm. The angel god did not expect Xiao Fan to suddenly name him. Although he was a little frightened, he could only bite the bullet and step forward, saying respectfully, "What do you want?" Xiao Fan said, "I heard that you want to pass on the throne of the angel god to someone else, right?" Upon hearing this, the angel god immediately said, "That's right." The angel god is also an old hand. When he heard what Xiao Fan meant, it was obvious that he wanted him to pass on the throne to someone else. Not to mention that he had the idea of passing on the throne. Even if he didn't have this idea originally, he had to say that he did now. Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and he released Qian Renxu directly from the source tower, saying lightly, "Her name is Qian Renxu, and she is also your angel bloodline, so you can pass on the throne to her, and as for the assessment, you can skip it all." The angel god was slightly surprised to see Qian Renxu suddenly appear, but he quickly reacted and agreed, "No problem. Everything will be done as you say." Qian Renxu suddenly saw the angel god, who had prayed and knelt before, groveling in front of Xiao Fan, and she couldn't help but feel a little confused. However, Qian Renxu knew that this was not the time to speak, and although she was confused, she did not speak, but just waited quietly by the side. Xiao Fan suddenly thought of something. "Oh, by the way, she is a little weak now. and it seems that she can't directly inherit your throne. You can just transfer all your power to her, and then you can practice again for a few years. Is that okay?" The angel god was unwilling in his heart, but facing Xiao Fan, the god of killing who had killed several great god kings, he dared not say anything and could only reluctantly agree. "Let's just pass it on in the God Realm Committee." Xiao Fan made the decision without giving the angel god a chance to react. Afterwards, Xiao Fan briefly explained the situation to Qian Renxu. When Qian Renxu learned that Xiao Fan had actually killed all the god kings directly, a huge wave of emotions suddenly rose in her heart. Xiao Fan looked at Qian Renxu's appearance and released a breath of soul, which instantly calmed Qian Renxu down. Then he said, "Don't think about anything else now. Go and accept the inheritance of the angel god first." Qian Renxu, right? Come with me. The angel god greeted Qian Renxu very sensibly, and then went to the palace of the God Realm Committee. Qian Renxu glanced at Xiao Fan, and then silently followed the angel god to receive the inheritance. After the angel god and Qian Renxu left, Xiao Fan looked at the other gods. Are the sea god and the god of emotions here? Xiao Fan was not familiar with the gods in the god realm. Among the first-level gods, the ones that impressed him the most were the sea god, the angel god, the Rakshasa god, and the god of emotions. Among them, Xiao Fan had the worst impression of the Rakshasa god, so he was too lazy to look for him. Hearing Xiao Fan's words, one of the gods with a simple face and the appearance of a middle-aged man stepped forward. The man wore a three-pronged ring on his head, and in the center of the ring, there was an aqua-blue gem. He was the current sea god. The sea god bowed slightly to Xiao Fan. "I am the sea god. The god of emotions is not here. I wonder if you have any instructions?" Xiao Fan said indifferently, "Go and summon all the first-level gods to the God Realm Committee. I will tell you the details later." "Okay." The sea god agreed, bowed slightly to Xiao Fan again, and then left quickly. Not long after, among the 18 first-level gods, except for the god of angels, the other 17 gods all gathered at the God Realm Committee. Xiao Fan's eyes swept over the 17 gods one by one, and then said indifferently, "I killed the 5 gods of evil, destruction, Shura, kindness, and life before, just because they wanted to kill me. It was a personal grudge. You can rest assured that I will not vent my anger on you." Hearing Xiao Fan's words, the gods all breathed a sigh of relief. Although they have lived for a long time, they have not lived enough. Naturally, they do not want to follow the footsteps of the 5 great gods. Their hostility towards Xiao Fan has also been weakened unconsciously. Xiao Fan took all this into his eyes and continued, "The king should be the only one. From now on, I will be the only god king in the god realm. Under this god king, 3 law enforcers will be established, namely the new angel god, the sea god and the god of emotions. Among them, the new angel god is the main one, and the sea god and the god of emotions are the auxiliary ones. That's all I have to say." "Who is in favor and who is against?" Swish. Hearing Xiao Fan's words, the gods all changed their expressions slightly. They did not expect that Xiao Fan would directly put forward the requests to take charge of the god realm. Not only did he serve as the unique god king, but he also let his confidant serve as the head of the law enforcer. Among the gods, Xiaoxiao god had the ugliest face, and a strong resentment rose in his heart. Before, when Shura god served as the law enforcer, Xiaoxiao god was very unwilling and wanted to replace Shura god. Now that the world of gods has changed drastically, he has been excluded from the circle of power again. How can he accept this? Xiaoxiao god originally controls the power of the most evil and the god of resentment and killing. As his resentment exploded, the resentment on his body suddenly became stronger. Seeing this, Xiao Fan raised his eyebrows slightly and smiled. It seems that Xiaoxiao god has an opinion. If you have any opinions, you can raise them. Xiaoxiao god saw Xiao Fan smiling, and the fear in his heart also faded a little. He said, "I think I am more suitable for the position of law enforcer than the god of emotions." Xiaoxiao god finally did not lose his mind. He understood that Qian Renxu was Xiao Fan's confidant and could not be replaced. Between the god of the sea and the god of emotions, the god of the sea was stronger, so he coveted the position of law enforcer of the god of emotions. After Xiaoxiao god finished speaking, Xiao Fan's smile suddenly withdrew, and the power of dragon might and soul deterrence suddenly started. At the same time, his right hand was slightly raised, and in an instant, a lightning arc pierced Luoxiao God's forehead. Luoxiao God let out a scream, and was soon killed by the power of thunder. When the other gods saw this scene, their faces changed again, and they were all silent. Xiao Fan said lightly, "You are silent. Are you like Luoxiao God, opposing my decision?" Hearing this, the gods hurriedly said, "We absolutely agree with the decision of Lord God King." Then it's settled. Xiao Fan smiled with satisfaction, and then said leisurely, "I have ascended to the throne of God King. Shouldn't you congratulate me?" The gods were slightly stunned when they heard this, and they didn't react for a while. After a while, it was the god of emotions who reacted first. "I don't have any other precious things. This ghost carving sword can barely be regarded as a super artifact. I give it to Lord God King as a gift to congratulate him on his ascension to the throne." Xiao Fan reached out to take the ghost carving sword and smiled. The god of emotions is thoughtful. Seeing this, the gods immediately understood and gave Xiao Fan their own gifts. After everyone had given their gifts, Xiao Fan sent them away. Not long after, Qian Renxu also received the inheritance of the angel god and became the new angel god. As for the original angel god, because most of the divine power was passed on to Qian Renxu, it was directly downgraded to a second-level god. When Qian Renxu learned of Xiao Fan's arrangement, she couldn't help but be surprised and surprised again. "Mr. Xiao, you have helped me so much. I don't know how to repay you." Xiao Fan smiled slightly. "Friends, don't be too polite. It's almost time. I should go back." "It would be great if Mr. Xiao could stay here forever," Qian Renxu heard, and couldn't help but say reluctantly. Although the two people didn't have much contact time, this experience is something that no one else can compare to in their lifetime. Xiao Fan smiled slightly. "Anyway, there is a chat group. You can invite me over another day, and you can also visit my world." "Okay, then it's settled," Qian Renxu heard, and immediately spoke with joy. The two chatted casually for a while, and Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and he returned to the Dqi world through the chat group. After returning to the Dqi world, Xiao Fan's consciousness sank into the system space and checked the harvest in the Duo world. This time, the 5 great gods and the god of emotions provided him with a total of 6 super artifacts, and the various treasures given by other gods were also very good. However, most of the things were not very useful to him. After a little hesitation, Xiao Fan left the Shura sword as his weapon, and all other artifacts and treasures were uploaded to the chat group mall. Soon, a series of prompts came from the chat group mall again. "I wonder how many points can be exchanged this time," Xiao Fan thought in his heart, but he was a little looking forward to it. The 6th update, 6 consecutive updates. Seeing that the author is so hard, please support it more. Collection, recommendation tickets, monthly tickets, rewards, etc. All data are okay. Thank you for the support of all readers. I wish you all happy every day and make a fortune every year. Good night. Chapter 37. Another breakthrough in cultivation, traveling through time and space. Group member Xiao Fan uploaded the judgment scale and received 300,000 points. Group member Xiao Fan uploaded. When the chat group prompt ended, Xiao Fan briefly counted all the property he had looted in the Duo God realm this time, and exchanged a total of 7.7 million points. After the exchange, Xiao Fan checked his member information in the chat group. Group member, Xiao Fan, age, 18, world, Dqi world, cultivation, 7-star Huang, potential, unknown, points, 8 million. Xiao Fan had previously been promoted to the 7-star Huang realm, and after sending Huang Rong a red envelope of more than 10,000 points, he still had 150,000 points left. The soul ring of the dark demon evil god tiger was exchanged for 30,000 points, and the treasures of the azure bull python and the titan giant ape were exchanged for 120,000 points, together with the 7.7 million points he had gained in the Duo world. It was exactly 8 million points. Xiao Fan did not hesitate at all and directly chose to use the points to improve his cultivation. You use 1 million points to upgrade your cultivation to the 8-star Huang. You use 1 million points to upgrade your cultivation to the 9-star Huang. insufficient points. Sure enough, every time you upgrade to a new realm, the points consumed will increase tenfold. Seeing the prompt that the chat group has insufficient points, Xiao Fan shook his head helplessly. At this moment, in the chat group, everyone watched Xiao Fan constantly uploading various treasures and exchanging for points one by one, and they couldn't help but explode again. Yan Lingjai, at Xiao Fan, brother Xiao Fan, didn't you go to meet Miss Qi on Renxu? How come you seem to be going to rob, and you actually earned more than 7 million points? It's too exaggerated. Envy, Huang Rong, at Qi on Renxu, Miss Qi on Renxu, what happened to brother Xiao Fan after he went to your world? I'm very curious. Curiosity. Yi Wen, Master Xiao is mighty and domineering. Worship. Zhu Yuanzhang, I'm tired of saying the word envy, but I don't have much culture, so I can only say envy. Master Xiao is awesome, strong. In the world of demon resurrection, Xiaoxiao naturally saw the prompt of the chat group. Huang Rong and the others didn't know that she was very familiar with the things uploaded by Xiao Fan. Xiaoxiao looked at the chat group prompt and was shocked. Sword of Judgment, Heart of Kindness, Ancient Tree of Life, Scepter of Destruction. Aren't these the super artifacts of the 4 great gods of the Duo God realm? They were all exchanged for points by Xiao Fan. Could it be that the 4 great gods were all killed by Xiao Fan? But isn't Xiao Fan only a first-level god? Moreover, looking at the things exchanged by Xiao Fan, they are not only from the 4 great gods, but also from other gods, the all-knowing and all-powerful immortal. At Xiao Fan, you have destroyed the god realm of the Duo world? Surprised. Duo world, Palace of the God Realm Committee. Qi on Renxu was adapting to her sudden strength that had become countless times stronger as soon as possible. After receiving the prompt message from the chat group, she immediately immersed her mind in it. Seeing the messages from everyone, Qi on Renxu couldn't help but raise the corners of her mouth a little. Qi on Renxu responded after a while of thinking. Qi on Renxu, Master Xiao exchanged for 5 super artifacts, the lifelong collections of the 5 great gods and the Rakshasa god, and the gifts of 16 first-level gods, a total of more than 7 million points. I still think it is a little less. Qi on Renxu, at Huang Rong, at all-knowing and almighty immortal, Master Xiao did not destroy the god realm. After Master Xiao came to our world, he encountered a battle between soul beasts, and then encountered the evil god Soul, and then the evil god himself came. And then, Yan Lingjai, wow, brother Xiao Fan is so powerful. This time he is a real god killer, and even killed the 5 great gods. Starry eyes, Huang Rong, it's really shocking. I didn't expect so many things to happen in just one day, and it also made me feel the power of brother Xiao Fan again. Worship. Yi Wen, Master Xiao is mighty, he is simply too strong. Kowtow, Zhu Yuanzhang. He single-handedly fought his way from the mortal world to the god realm, and even killed 5 great god kings, directly changing the god realm. He is so powerful. It is a pity that I did not see young Master Xiao's feat of fighting his way to the god realm. Strong, the all-knowing and all-powerful immortal, fellow Taoist Xiao Fan is growing really fast. Amazing. Huang Rong, at Qi on Renxu, I envy Miss Qi on Renxu, who actually ascended to heaven in one step and became a super strong person in the realm of the immortals on land. I used the points sent by brother Xiao Fan, and I am only at the Grand Master level now. Envy, Yan Lingjai, I envy her too, she is only at the Grand Master level. Envy, Yi Wen, he is still only at the Xianshan level now. Ashamed, Zhu Yuanzhang, I am only at the Grand Master level, and there is still some distance to the Grand Master level. Envy, after Xiao Fan used the points to improve his cultivation, he sensed that someone in the chat group had him, so he also immersed his consciousness in the chat group and quickly browsed everyone's messages. After reading everyone's messages, Xiao Fan couldn't help but laugh. After a series of battles, it's a good time to relax by chatting in the chat group. Thinking in his heart, Xiao Fan also joined the team of chatting in the chat group. Xiao Fan, alas, I don't want to be so high profile. It's all because those gods in Qi on Renxu's world are looking for death. They can contribute some points for me, and finally they died for a good cause. Spreading hands, Yan Lingjai, at Xiao Fan. Wow, brother Xiao Fan is here. Blowing kiss, Huang Rong, at Xiao Fan. Brother Xiao Fan, you are too powerful. I will be satisfied when I can catch up with 1/10 of you. Worship. Yi Wen, if ye can have 1% of Mr. Xiao's strength, I am afraid I can be invincible in the world. Zhu Yuanzhang, Mr. Xiao went to Miss Yan Lingjai's world, and Miss Yan Lingjai became a grandmaster. Mr. Xiao went to Miss Qian Renxu's world, and Miss Qian Renxu directly became a land immortal. I am also looking forward to it. When Master Xiao comes to our world tomorrow, what can we gain? Looking forward to it. Huang Rong, my cultivation level didn't improve when Brother Xiao Fan came to our world. Feeling wronged. Yi Wen, I dare not speak. Yan Lingjai, at Huang Rong, didn't Brother Xiao Fan give you more than 10,000 points? Don't be too greedy. Naughty. Huang Rong, at Yan Lingjai, you are the same. Rolling eyes. Qian Renxu, he, Master Xiao gave me 2 soul rings of 100,000 soul beasts, and 2 soul bones. The soul bones alone can be exchanged for 50,000 points. Proud. Yan Lingjai, at Qian Renxu, wow, I'm so envious. Envy. Huang Rong, at Qian Renxu, you are so annoying. You deliberately make us envy you. I'll beat you. Knocking on the head. Zhu Yuanzhang, I can only say I envy you once more. Envy. Yi Wen, same envy. Envy. Xiao Fan looked at the messages in the chat group and shook his head. He didn't expect Qian Renxu to have such a side. Xiao Fan, that's enough. You two stop being envious. I will waive the 1,000 points I lent you before. I will never forget you if there are any benefits in the future. Zhu Yuanzhang, thank you, Mr. Xiao. You are so generous. Thanks, IP man. Thank you, Mr. Xiao. Thanks. In the world of demon resurrection, Xiaoxiao looked at the messages in the group and her eyes turned red. She didn't even get the benefit of 1,000 points. Otherwise, I should just confess my identity. Seeing that everyone got benefits by pleasing Xiao Fan, Xiaoxiao couldn't help but feel a little moved. While Xiaoxiao was wavering in her heart, Xiao Fan chatted casually in the group for a while, then withdrew his mind from the chat group and prepared to go out for dinner. Not long after Xiao Fan got up in the morning, he traveled to the Duo world. He spent a lot of time fighting in the Duo world and arranging matters in the God realm. When he returned to the Qi world, it was already evening. The inn where he stayed provided food and drinks, which was not a big deal. After dinner, Xiao Fan digested a little and then went back to his room to rest. Nothing happened that night. The next morning, Xiao Fan woke up slowly amid the noise of adventurers in Qingshan town. After a simple breakfast, Xiao Fan, at the invitation of Zhu Yuanzhang, traveled to the Fuyu Fanyun world. As soon as he entered the Fuyu Fanyun world through the chat group, Xiao Fan directly gave the system a sign-in instruction in his heart. Chapter 38 Zhu Yuanzhang, treat young Master Xiao like a god. Ding. Sign-in successful. Congratulations to the host, you have obtained a Gyuan pill. Note, after taking it, you can change your physique. There are no attribute restrictions, and you can practice and use any skills of any attribute in the heavens and the worlds. Although this Gyuan pill cannot improve your strength, it seems to be very useful. Hearing the content of the system reward, Xiao Fan's heart moved slightly, thinking secretly, welcome to Mr. Xiao. Xiao Fan was thinking in his heart, and Zhu Yuanzhang's voice sounded beside him. Xiao Fan looked in the direction of the voice, and saw Zhu Yuanzhang wearing a casual suit, with a burly figure, a square face, and a short beard on his lips. His appearance was no different from that of an ordinary person, without the exaggerated image in some film and television dramas. Xiao Fan smiled slightly. The emperor is polite. Zhu Yuanzhang smiled and said, Mr. Xiao, just call me Lao. I dare not show off my identity in front of Mr. Xiao. Xiao Fan heard Zhu Yuanzhang's words, just smiled, and didn't say much. Zhu Yuanzhang extended his hand to indicate the direction. Mr. Xiao, please. Xiao Fan nodded slightly and followed Zhu Yuanzhang to the bell hall, the place where guests were received and banquets were held in the palace. Behind the two of them, there were several eunuchs. As soon as they arrived at the door of Bao Hall, an eunuch shouted in a shrill voice, the emperor has arrived. Your son pays respects to the emperor. Your Majesty. Soon, The sound of people paying respects to Zhu Yuanzhang rang out in Bell Hall. These people were naturally arranged by Zhu Yuanzhang, mainly some princes and palace mistresses, and there were also 2 special guests. "What are you yelling at me for?" Zhu Yuanzhang frowned and scolded, then said to Xiao Fan, "Mr. Xiao, I'm sorry to have embarrassed you." Xiao Fan smiled and said, "It's okay, I know a thing or two about these etiquettes. Thank you for your understanding, Mr. Xiao." Zhu Yuanzhang thanked Xiao Fan, and then said to everyone in the Bell Hall, "This is Mr. Xiao Fan, a godlike existence. Come and salute Mr. Xiao." "Greetings, Mr. Xiao." Hearing Zhu Yuanzhang's words, Crown Prince Zhu Biao was the first to salute Xiao Fan. Although the others were a little surprised, they did not dare to show any expression in front of Zhu Yuanzhang, and greeted Xiao Fan one after another. Zhu Yuanzhang introduced Xiao Fan. "The first person who spoke just now was my eldest son Zhu Biao. The others are all my children and grandchildren. They all admire Master Xiao very much, so I brought them to see the real person. I hope Master Xiao will not blame me." "No," Xiao Fan smiled. "By the way, I have some special royal jelly here, which I will give to these princes and princesses as a gift." As he spoke, Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and he took out a few bottles of royal jelly from the system space. These royal jelly were obtained from the nest of the 6th level high-level magic beast Earth Bear, and he planned to keep them as drinks. For Xiao Fan, it was just a drink, but for Zhu Yuanzhang and his children and grandchildren, it was definitely a treasure of the spiritual medicine level. "Thank you, Master Xiao." Zhu Biao, as a representative, took Xiao Fan's gift with both hands and thanked him. Xiao Fan reminded, "By the way, this royal jelly contains powerful energy. After taking it, it can not only strengthen the body and prolong life, but also improve the strength of cultivation. But ordinary people must remember not to take too much at the beginning. Emperor Ming, you can take a part of it first to experience it, and then distribute it according to your discretion." "Thank you, Master Xiao." Zhu Yuanzhang's eyes lit up when he heard it, and he hurriedly thanked him. Sure enough, the things that Master Xiao gave away were not simple. After Xiao Fan chatted with Zhu Yuanzhang, Zhu Biao and others in the palace for a while, he felt that it was not interesting, so he said, "Old Zhu, in the world you are in, it seems that there are 3 forces, Sihangjing's High, Nujiaogang and Mashi Palace." Zhu Yuanzhang asked, "Mr. Xiao is very good at predicting things. I wonder what you mean?" Xiao Fan said, "These 3 forces each have a technique that I am interested in. I am going to borrow it." Zhu Yuanzhang said cautiously, "I have some friendship with Yan Jingnan, the owner of Sihangjing's High. If they have any offense, please show mercy." "Don't worry, I'm just borrowing the technique. I won't kill anyone casually," Xiao Fan responded with a smile, and then his figure flashed a few times and disappeared in the palace. Zhu Biao and other princes and grandchildren thought at first that Zhu Yuanzhang was fooled by Xiao Fan. The gift he gave was actually honey. As descendants of the royal family, would they lack this thing? At this moment, everyone was shocked to see Xiao Fan's figure floating away. "Father, this man." Zhu Biao looked surprised and hesitated to speak. Zhu Yuanzhang said solemnly, "Biao, you must remember to respect Mr. Xiao as if he were a god. Just follow his instructions." "I obey your orders." Zhu Biao hesitated for a moment, but agreed under Zhu Yuanzhang's gaze. Zhu Yuanzhang said, "Let's go. Let's try the effect of royal jelly first. Maybe it will give us a surprise." On the other side, after Xiao Fan left the palace, he released Xiao Jun directly, and then took Xiao Jun to the territory of Beiyuan. He planned to start from far and then go near. After plundering these forces, he said goodbye to Zhu Yuanzhang and returned to the Qi world. Xiao Jun carried Xiao Fan and arrived in Beiyuan soon. Xiao Fan directly used his powerful soul-sensing power to search for relatively strong auras in Beiyuan. In less than a quarter of an hour, Xiao Fan sensed an evil and powerful aura. Of course, this strength is only compared with the people in the world of Fu Yifan Yun. "Xiao Jin, go down." After sensing the aura, Xiao Fan asked Xiao Jun to take him down. In the Magic Master's palace, Pang Ban was comprehending the Dao heart-planting demon method as usual, and at the same time looking forward to the maturity of the demon seeds, so that he could go and pick them. According to the date, the demon seeds are about to mature. "I hope that my Dao heart-planting demon can reach perfection." Pang Ban looked in the direction of Daming and murmured. Suddenly, Pang Ban sensed two powerful orbs coming towards the Magic Master's palace. He immediately gathered his mind and his face was solemn. Before he could react, Xiao Fan had already landed in front of him on Xiao Yan. If nothing unexpected happens, you are the Magic Master Pang Ban, right? Xiao Fan looked at the handsome and evil man in front of him and said with certainty. Pang Ban looked at Xiao Fan solemnly. I am Pang Ban. Who are you? Xiao Fan said calmly. It doesn't matter who I am. I heard that you have the unique skill of cultivating demons with the heart of Taoism, and I hope you can lend it to me to see. If it was just from the perspective of martial arts practice, Xiao Fan would have some admiration for Pang Ban, but because Pang Ban gave his beloved woman to another man as a wife for the sake of practice, and Pang Ban was determined to overthrow the Ming dynasty, Xiao Fan didn't have a good impression of Pang Ban. Therefore, Xiao Fan was not polite to Pang Ban at all. Pang Ban's face suddenly turned cold when he heard the words, arrogant. I think you are courting death. As soon as the voice fell, a figure flashed, and Pang Ban had appeared within 1 meter of Xiao Fan, with his right hand in a claw shape, and suddenly grabbed Xiao Fan's throat. Why bother? Xiao Fan shook his head slightly, standing there without moving, and Pang Ban was suddenly struck by lightning and flew backwards. Puff! A mouthful of blood spurted out. Pang Ban's face turned pale, his eyes full of disbelief. Who are you? Xiao Fan was too lazy to waste any more time, and directly used the soul deterrence technique on Pang Ban, and then asked about the method of the Daohard demon cultivation technique. I'll leave you a whole body. After getting what he wanted, Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and a soul sword slashed out, directly destroying Pang Ban's soul. A generation of magic masters who had been in the martial arts world for decades fell. After dealing with Pang Ban, Xiao Fan directly took Xiao Jin and took off again. Looking back at the Magic Master Palace behind him, Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and suddenly a thunder palm was released. Boom! In an instant, the area of several miles around the Magic Master Palace collapsed. All the people who stayed in the Magic Master Palace, together with their magic masters, were buried under the ruins of the Magic Master Palace. Xiao Fan did not have much fluctuations about this, and directly drove Xiao Jin to the next destination. Chapter 39 Qian Renxu shows off. Sudden group reminder. 2 hours later, Xiao Fan returned to the Ming dynasty's palace. When Zhu Yuanzhang saw Xiao Fan return, he was much more enthusiastic than before. Mr. Xiao, you are back so soon. Just now, after Xiao Fan left, Zhu Yuanzhang tried taking royal jelly himself, which actually directly improved his cultivation by 1 level. The gifts Xiao Fan casually gave were all such precious treasures. How could Zhu Yuanzhang not be enthusiastic in front of Xiao Fan? Xiao Fan nodded slightly. Yes, by the way, I will help you eliminate the main members of the Magic Master Palace. After leaving the Magic Master Palace, Xiao Fan went to the new Zhaogang and Sahangjing's High, and even the inconspicuous Wukanghan Mansion. He obtained the Fuyu sword technique, Sahang sword classic, and the eagle sword that contained the inheritance of the hero Guanyin. In Xiao Fan's impression, these are the more valuable things in the world of Fuyu Fan Yun. Zhu Yuanzhang was shocked again when he heard this. Mr. Xiao, you said that you destroyed the Magic Master Palace? The Magic Master Palace is one of the most important enemies of the Ming dynasty, especially the Magic Master Pang Ban, who is one of the only 2 powerful people in this world who have reached the state of unity between heaven and man. Zhu Yuanzhang was very troubled by the Magic Master Palace, but he didn't expect Xiao Fan to solve it easily for him. However, thinking of Xiao Fan's powerful strength, Zhu Yuanzhang was relieved. Zhu Yuanzhang bowed solemnly to Xiao Fan and said gratefully, "Thank you, Mr. Xiao." "It's okay, it's just something that comes with the hand," Xiao Fan responded casually, and then said, "I have now taken a tour of this world, so I am ready to go back." Zhu Yuanzhang hurriedly said, "Mr. Xiao, are you leaving now? It's lunchtime soon. Why don't you have lunch first and then leave?" "I have asked the people in the imperial kitchen to prepare it." Xiao Fan pondered for a moment, nodded slightly, and accepted Zhu Yuanzhang's kindness. After enjoying a sumptuous lunch in the Daming Palace, Xiao Fan said goodbye to Zhu Yuanzhang and returned to the Dqi world through the chat group. After returning to the guest room in the Dqi world, Xiao Fan calmed down and began to comprehend the skills he had obtained in the Fu Yu Fan Yun world, and combined all the martial arts skills he had mastered into one. You began to comprehend the Daixin Zongmo Dafa, Fu Yu sword technique, Sihang sword classic, Taiyin Zhenjing, Huang Jai Jing Shilu, Wing Chun Quanjing and other skills. With the addition of the heaven-defying enlightenment, you soon understood all these skills. You are not satisfied with this, and you are ready to integrate all these skills into one, creating a comprehensive martial arts treasure book. You suddenly realized that you combined the martial arts skills you mastered, took the essence and removed the dross, and deduced them to create a brand new martial arts treasure book, Martial God Secret. That's it. Let's see how many points we can redeem. Xiao Fan stopped comprehending, whispered, and then uploaded Martial God Art to the chat group Mall. Group member Xiao Fan uploaded Martial God Art and got 90,000 points. It seems that it is too difficult to earn points by practicing martial arts, and it is faster to kill people and rob treasures. Seeing the prompt of the chat group, Xiao Fan shook his head slightly, a little dissatisfied. The martial god art created by Xiao Fan can be practiced by all martial artists, without any requirements for qualifications, and the highest level can be practiced to a higher level than the land immortals. Xiao Fan was too lazy to think deeply and named it martial god, and the martial god art was named accordingly. Xiao Fan was not satisfied with this martial arts, but the members of the group were surprised again. Wanji chat group, chat interface, Yan Lingjai, at Xiao Fan. Wow, brother Xiao Fan is so powerful. He actually uploaded a martial arts that can be practiced to a level higher than the land immortals. Worship. Huang Rong, brother Xiao Fan is too strong. A little bit of attack is our limit. Worship. Qian Renxu, according to the cultivation level comparison mentioned by the group leader before, can't this Washinju be cultivated directly to the realm of God King? Such a powerful technique only costs 90,000 points. It's really cheap. Surprised. Yi Wen, cheap? I don't know if I can earn 90,000 points in this life. Surprised. Zhu Yuanzhang, we can't afford it now. Helpless. Huang Rong, at Qian Renxu, you are amazing. You are noble. 90,000 points are too little. It's because brother Xiao Fan helped you that you have the capital to show off. Knock. Yan Lingjai, that's right. If I can control a world, I can also earn 90,000 points quickly. Picking nose. Qian Renxu, I control more than one world. Smirk. Yan Lingjai, at Qian Renxu, Sister Ronger is right. You are really too bad, deliberately showing off. Let us envy you. Hit you. Knock. Xiao Fan took a look at the message in the group and couldn't help laughing. Xiao Fan, at Qian Renxu, please stop deliberately provoking others. Qian Renxu, of course we have to listen to Master Xiao's words. I won't provoke them anymore in the future. Naughty. Yan Lingjai, at Xiao Fan, woo, brother Xiao Fan, you are here and Qian Renxu bullies me. Aggrieved. Huang Rong, at Xiao Fan, yes, she also bullied me. Crying. Xiao Fan, really? I think you are just jealous of Qian Renxu and want me to give you some benefits. See through everything. Huang Rong, brother Xiao Fan, if you just say it directly, I will be embarrassed. Shy. Yan Lingjai, I'm not afraid of being embarrassed. Brother Xiao Fan, why don't you lend me some more points? Grimace. Qian Renxu, at Yan Lingjai, are you borrowing that? I am embarrassed to point it out to you. Huang Rong, at Yan Lingjai, are you borrowing that? I am embarrassed to point it out to you. Zhu Yuanzhang, at Yan Lingjai, Yi Wen, at Yan Lingjai. Xiao Fan looked at the messages from everyone and couldn't help but shook his head slightly. After a slight hesitation, Xiao Fan felt that this point could be borrowed, just like what Yan Lingjai had said unintentionally before. If they also controlled the world, they would certainly earn points very quickly. When they grow up, not only can they easily repay the points they borrowed, but they may also come in handy at critical moments. Xiao Fan, at all members, okay. Stop making trouble. If you really want to borrow points, of course there is no problem, but you have to pay them back this time. Xiao Fan, just like what Yan Lingjai had said unintentionally before. In fact, as long as you control a world, there are plenty of resources. and it will be easy to earn points. You can develop in this direction. At Zhu Yuanzhang, in fact, you have the greatest advantage in this regard. Qian Renxu. The help that Master Xiao has given me is already great enough, and I don't need to borrow points for the time being. Thanks Huangrong. At Xiao Fan, Brother Xiao Fan, I am now at the 9th level of Grand Master, and I still need 5,000 points to get 10,000 points and break through to the Grand Master level. Can you lend me 5,000 points? Rubbing hands Xiao Fan. No problem. Huangrong's exclusive red envelope. Huangrong received Xiao Fan's red envelope and received 5,000 points. Huangrong. At Xiao Fan. Thank you Brother Xiao Fan. Blowing kiss Yan Lingjai. I am about to break through the 2nd level of Grand Master, and I still need 5,000 points. Brother Xiao Fan. I also want to borrow. Looking forward Xiao Fan. Sure. Yan Lingjai's exclusive red envelope. Afterwards, Yi Wen and Zhu Yuanzhang each borrowed 5,000 points from Xiao Fan, and everyone naturally thanked Xiao Fan one after another. In the world of Demon Resurrection, Xiaoxiao looked at this scene, and a wolf-like green light appeared in her eyes. She wanted to confess her identity and borrow points from Xiao Fan to improve her cultivation. At this time, the Wanji chat group suddenly sent a reminder to all group members. Group reminder. In view of the fact that the original group owner Xiaoxiao failed to fulfill the responsibility of helping each other in the chat group and promoting the growth and development of the chat, he failed the probation period and was disqualified as a group owner. Group reminder. Now start to recommend a new group owner. If a new group owner is not recommended within 24 hours, the chat group will randomly designate a new group owner. What's going on? Everyone was quite surprised to receive a reminder from the chat group suddenly. Ahem. I found that I have to ask for a wave of support before readers are willing to feed. Then I will ask for support here, for recommendation tickets, 5-star praise, monthly tickets, rewards, subscriptions, and all data. Thank you all, and I wish you all the best and prosperity. Chapter 40. The chat group changes ownership. After the group prompt was completed, a voting interface appeared in front of everyone. There were 7 options on the voting interface, which means that all 7 group members had the opportunity to become group leaders. In the world of Demon Resurrection, Xiaoxiao was stunned when she received the prompt from the Wanji chat group. What's going on? I have been a group leader for a month, but I haven't gotten any benefits yet. Just cancel my position as group leader? It was not said before that there is a probation period for being a group leader. However, Xiaoxiao complained, but the chat group did not give any response. It's over, my golden finger is gone. Xiaoxiao wanted to cry but had no tears. As the group leader of the chat group, Xiaoxiao can view the basic information of other members, and has the function of muting group members. In addition, she can also explain the group functions to new members and get a reward of 100 points. More importantly, as the group leader of the chat group, she can go directly to the world of group members without the invitation of other members. In case of any fatal danger, she can travel to other worlds through the chat group at any time. For every chat group member in a different world, she is almost equivalent to having an extra life. Unfortunately, all this is gone soon. No, I can't just give up like this. Suddenly, Xiaoxiao gritted her teeth and uttered a loud voice, and then sank her consciousness into the chat interface of the chat group. The all-knowing and almighty immortal, at all members, during this period of time, I have not treated you unfairly or offended you, right? In addition, because I informed you of your fate in advance, you can avoid tragedy, so you all vote for me in the nomination of the group leader. Is that okay? Seeing the message sent by Xiaoxiao, no one responded immediately. During this period of time, Xiaoxiao did not offend them, but she seemed to have done nothing except spoiling the story, in order to pretend to be profound and maintain the image of a mysterious master. She was not close to everyone in the group. On the contrary, except for Xiaoxiao, Xiao Fan, everyone else received help from him to varying degrees. After a long while, Qian Renxu was the first to express her opinion. Qian Renxu, at all knowing and almighty immortal, I'm sorry, it was Master Xiao who really changed my fate, and Master Xiao has helped everyone before, and he will not look down on us weaklings just because he is strong. So, I nominate Master Xiao to be the new group leader." After Qian Renxu sent the message, she directly voted for Xiao Fan. Yan Lingjai, as Xiao Fan. "Of course I also support my favorite brother Xiao Fan." Blowing kiss. Huang Rong, I also nominate brother Xiao Fan to be the group leader. Zhu Yuanzhang, at all-knowing and almighty immortal. "I'm sorry, I think Miss Qian Renxu is right. We nominate Master Xiao to be the new group leader." Yi Wen, Yi also supports Master Xiao to be the group leader. After several people sent the message, they directly voted for Xiao Fan on the voting interface. In less than a minute, Xiao Fan had already received 5 votes of support. In the world of demon resurrection, Xiaoxiao looked at the messages and votes of several people, and her face was suddenly filled with despair. "It's all over. I should have known I was pretending to be a master. If I had established good relationships with the group members in advance, I might have been able to get votes." Xiaoxiao's face was full of regret at this moment. "Forget it. Let's give up the position. Maybe after a month, Xiao Fan will also fail the trial and can re-elect the group leader." Thinking in her heart, Xiaoxiao also voted for Xiao Fan, and then sent a message in the group: "The all-knowing and all-powerful immortal. Everyone supports Xiao Fan, so I will follow the public opinion." Xiao Fan is naturally paying attention to the movements of everyone in the chat group. Seeing that everyone voted for him, he couldn't help but feel a little happy. "Xiao Fan, thank you for your support. Since everyone supports me, I won't be polite. I hope that all friends in the group will help each other and get better in the future." After saying that, Xiao Fan also voted for himself. Group reminder: after the election, group member Xiao Fan serves as the new group leader of the Wanji chat group. Group reminder: the group leader randomly designated by the chat group needs a 1-month trial period to decide whether he can continue to serve as the group leader. The group leader nominated by the group members will not be changed unless there are special circumstances, except for death. After everyone finished voting, the Wanji chat group sent out 2 reminders again. In the world of demon resurrection, Xiaoxiao was dumbfounded when she saw a group reminder at the back. "Well, there is no chance now, so I'd better confess my identity as soon as possible," and hug Xiao Fan's thigh. Group member all-knowing and almighty immortal changed his name to Xiaoxiao. Xiaoxiao, as Xiao Fan, congratulations to Mr. Xiao for becoming the new group leader. Mr. Xiao is mighty and domineering. I wish Mr. Xiao will become the emperor as soon as possible and be invincible in the world. Congratulations, Yan Lingjai, as Xiao Fan. Congratulations to brother Xiao Fan for becoming the group leader. Blowing kiss. Huang Rong, as Xiao Fan. Congratulations to brother Xiao Fan for becoming the group leader. Congratulations, Qian Renxu, as Xiao Fan. IP Man. Zhu Yuanzhang. Xiao Fan, I also want to thank everyone for their support. In order to express my gratitude and celebrate my becoming the group leader, I will send everyone a red envelope. Red envelope. Yan Lingjai received Xiao Fan's red envelope and received 2,000 points. Huang Rong received Xiao Fan's red envelope and received 1,600 points. Xiaoxiao received Xiao Fan's red envelope and received 800 points. Yi Wen received Xiao Fan's red envelope and received 1,000 points. Zhu Yuanzhang received Xiao Fan's red envelope and received 2,400 points. Qian Renxu received Xiao Fan's red envelope and received 2,200 points. Xiaoxiao, as Xiao Fan. Thank you Mr. Xiao. This adds up to another 10,000 points. Mr. Xiao is generous. Mr. Xiao is the eternal God. Worship. Yan Lingjai, as Xiao Fan. Thank you brother Xiao Fan. Love you. Blowing kiss. Afterwards, Huang Rong, Qian Renxu, Yi Wen, and Zhu Yuanzhang also expressed their gratitude to Xiao Fan. Yan Lingjai, it's better for brother Xiao Fan to be the group leader. The previous group leader never sent us red envelopes with points. Happy. Huang Rong, come to think of it, why do I feel that the former group leader is a bit strange? Even if he is no longer the group leader, his attitude should not change so much, right? Question. Qian Renxu, I also think that he is a great immortal who is stronger than Mr. Xiao. Confused. Xiaoxiao, at all members, I am not a great immortal, I am a time traveler, so I can know your information. Please forgive my deception. Kowtow, Zhu Yuanzhang, what is a time traveler? IP man, same question. Xiaoxiao, a time traveler is. Xiaoxiao explained a lot to everyone and apologized to everyone again and again. Everyone soon understood that the great immortal Xiaoxiao was actually fake. However, they only condemned Xiaoxiao for a few words and let the matter go. After all, although Xiaoxiao did not help them, she did not offend them. After electing a new group leader, everyone chatted casually for a while and then went back to the real world to continue their own business. Xiao Fan didn't care too much about becoming the new group leader. At present, it was just more convenient for him to sign into other group members' worlds. After withdrawing his mind from the chat group, Xiao Fan thought about it and decided to continue to search the Warcraft Mountains. But before that, maybe I can find a herbalist first. Xiao Fan whispered and walked out of the inn directly, and then walked towards the direction of Wanyao's High. Chapter 41. Xiao Wu is shocked. Is Xiaoxian in danger again? What made Xiao Fan a little regretful was that when he went to Wanyao's High, he learned that Xiaoxian was not in Wanyao's High, but had entered the Monster Mountain Range again to collect herbs. So Xiao Fan went to the Monster Mountain Range alone on Xiaojin, under the guidance of Xiaojin. After arriving at the Monster Mountain Range again, Xiao Fan suddenly raised his eyebrows slightly. I seem to have forgotten something. It turned out that after Xiao Fan entered the Monster Mountain Range, he thought of the things in the Zhengde Great Forest in Luo Continent, and then remembered Xiao Wu who was still in the Yuanqi Tower. Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and he released Xiao Wu from the Yuanqi Tower. Mr. Xiao, have we reached the God Realm? Where is Miss Qian Renxu? Xiao Wu had just come out of the Yuanqi Tower, and subconsciously looked at the surrounding environment. She found that it was very different from the Luo Continent, and couldn't help but ask. Xiao Fan smiled and said, this is not the God Realm of Duo Continent. The affairs of the God Realm have ended. Qian Renxu has now inherited the throne of the God of Angels and stayed in the God Realm. Xiao Wu was shocked again when she heard this. Ah, so soon, Master Xiao? You didn't encounter any danger in the God Realm, did you? Xiao Fan said, I have killed all the 5 great gods in the God Realm, and also killed a first-level god, the Rakshasa god. Now the God Realm can be said to be under my control. You killed all the 5 great gods. You are so amazing. Xiao Wu's eyes widened when she heard Xiao Fan's words. However, considering that Xiao Fan had already killed the god of evil before, it was not a big surprise to kill the other 4 great gods. It's just that those so-called god kings are too weak. Xiao Fan smiled faintly, and continued, after finishing the affairs in the God Realm, I had to leave the Duo world for some reason. I forgot to ask you at that time, and brought you to my world as well. Xiao Wu blinked. I don't quite understand what Mr. Xiao means. Xiao Fan explained, in the vast universe, there are all kinds of heavens and worlds. The world where you and Qian Renxu originally lived, I call it the Duo world. The God Realm of the Duo world and the Duo continent are just the same world system, and the world I live in is called the Qi world. In our world, humans practice Qi and do not need to hunt soul beasts and absorb soul rings to improve their strength. However, there is another powerful creature called Warcraft. Humans and Warcraft are also in a hostile state because of cultivation resources and other reasons. We are now in the Warcraft Mountains, and I plan to come here to search for some cultivation resources. Xiao Wu sorted out the information, and then asked curiously, with your strength that is stronger than that of the God King, are the cultivation resources in the Warcraft Mountains still useful to you? Xiao Fan shook his head slightly. You are wrong. The magic beasts in the Qi world are not comparable to the soul beasts in the Duo world. Magic beasts are divided into 1 to 9 levels. The 6th level magic beasts have the cultivation strength equivalent to the gods in the Duo world. Magic beasts that reach the 7th level can not only transform into humans without external forces, but their strength is comparable to the God Kings in the Duo world. My current real cultivation is actually slightly worse than the God Kings in your world. There are naturally many natural treasures in the Magic Beast Mountains that are helpful to me. Only when you reach the strength of a God King can you transform into a human. Xiao Wu was shocked again when she heard Xiao Fan's words. At the same time, she seemed to understand why Xiao Fan, a strong man who could kill the God King, did not think that she might be a soul beast when he saw her, and that girl Qian Renxu seemed to have doubts about her identity. Her current strength is really too weak. Xiao Fan ignored what Zhao Wu was thinking and continued. I went to Buo World yesterday because of Qian Renxu's invitation. I didn't expect a series of things to happen later. After I dealt with the affairs of the God Realm, I returned directly to the Qi world and forgot about you for a while. You can live in our world for a while. If you want to go back, I will send you back after a while. Okay. Zhao Wu heard this and had no objection. In fact, Zhao Wu didn't have much impression of Buo World. She had lived in the Xingdu Great Forest since she was a child. Her Buo World only had the Xingdu Great Forest. As for relatives, after Zhao Wu's mother died, there were only two soul beasts, the Azure Bull Python and the Titan Giant Ape. Now they are dead. Zhao Wu can say that she has no worries in Buo World. In the next few days, Xiao Fan took Zhao Wu with him, searching for spiritual medicine in the Warcraft Mountains during the day, and took Zhao Jin back to King Shantown to stay in the evening. Of course, Xiao Fan didn't forget to sign into the chat group every day. It's just that there have been no new members joining the group for a while, so Xiao Fan's chances of signing into other worlds have not increased. After a few days of getting along, Zhao Wu and Xiao Fan became more familiar with each other. They were no longer as reserved as they were at the beginning, and gradually regained some of their lively nature. Moreover, when Zhao Wu saw Xiao Fan searching for spiritual medicine in the Magic Beast Mountain range, he rarely took the initiative to hunt magic beasts, which made Zhao Wu have a better impression of Xiao Fan. In fact, Zhao Wu didn't know that Xiao Fan rarely took the initiative to hunt magic beasts, mainly because the levels of the magic beasts he encountered were too low, and he couldn't earn many points by killing them. Xiao Fan's goal was to hunt magic beasts above the 4th level at least. Of course, if the magic beasts below the 3rd level didn't know how to live or die, Xiao Fan would definitely not mind sending them on their way. In the evening of that day, Xiao Fan and Zhao Wu took Zhao Jin again and returned from the Magic Beast Mountain range to the inn in King Shan Town. Halfway along the way, Zhao Jin suddenly chirped in one direction and told Xiao Fan through the power of mental communication that it had found the silly bird a few days ago. When Xiao Fan received Zhao Jin's message, he couldn't help but be slightly stunned, and then released a powerful soul-sensing power. Soon, Xiao Fan realized that the silly bird that Zhao Jin was referring to was Xiaoxian's pet blue eagle. Then, near the blue eagle, Xiao Fan also sensed Xiaoxian's figure. At this moment, Xiaoxian was carefully climbing on a cliff, staring at the cliff opposite, as if thinking about something interesting. Seeing this, Xiao Fan's heart moved slightly, and he immediately asked Zhao Jin to fly towards the cliff where Xiaoxian was. Miss Xiaoxian, what are you doing? After letting Zhao Jin descend to the same height as Xiaoxian, Xiao Fan looked at Xiaoxian and teased her. When Xiaoxian saw Xiao Fan suddenly appear, her face looked a little unnatural. She asked instead of answering, Mr. Zhao, why are you here? Xiao Fan made up a story. I was sitting on Zhao Jin's back and saw you on the cliff from the air. I thought you fell down accidentally, so I was ready to help you. But from the looks of you, it seems that you climbed down on your own initiative. Xiaoxian was grateful when she heard Xiao Fan's words. I found a spiritual medicine in the air above the cliff, so I came down to pick it. As she said that, Xiaoxian held a rock protruding from the middle of the cliff with one hand, raised a second great spiritual medicine with the other hand, and gestured to Xiao Fan. But at this moment, the rock that Xiaoxian was holding with her hand suddenly fell off. Xiaoxian's body fell to one side of the cliff involuntarily, and she subconsciously let out a cry of surprise. Please recommend, please vote, please monthly ticket, please give 5-star praise, please reward, please give all data. Thank you for your support, handsome guys and beautiful girls. I wish you all a great fortune. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 42 Treasure Hunt. The excited little medical fairy. Although Xiao Fan had saved Xiaoxian once, Xiaoxian was obviously reluctant to let Xiao Fan know the secret she had discovered. After seeing Xiao Fan coming, she was a little nervous. and was a little careless when she deliberately showed Xiao Fan the spiritual medicine she had picked not long ago. When Xiao Fan saw Xiaoxiao falling off the cliff, he couldn't help but shake his head slightly, and flew to the direction where Xiaoxiao fell. He held her slender waist that was not even a hand's length, and brought her to Xiao Jin's back. Standing steadily on Xiao Jin's back, Xiaoxiao reached out and patted her chest, slowly calming down. Although Xiaoxiao's Pedzilin was not far from here, there was a great chance that he could catch her before she fell to the bottom of the cliff. However, the feeling of falling and weightlessness inevitably made Xiaoxiao feel scared. Xiao Fan looked at the frightened Xiaoxiao and smiled. "Isn't there just a cave here? I noticed it when I first came near you. You don't need to hide deliberately, and you almost fell off the cliff because of it." Xiaoxiao frowned when she heard this, and then relaxed again. "Okay. Since you found it, how are you going to deal with me?" Xiao Fan shook his head slightly. "You think too much. If I wanted to kill people and steal treasures, I wouldn't have saved you just now. Let's go to the cave first. Maybe there are no precious treasures in it." Xiaoxiao was relieved when she heard Xiao Fan's words. Although Xiaoxiao had never seen Xiao Fan take action, the demon beast under Xiao Fan's seat was very powerful. If Xiao Fan had any bad intentions, she would have no power to resist at all. It's not Xiaoxiao's fault that she was mean and judged others. Xiaoxiao had a poisonous body and had been displaced since childhood. She had never felt real warmth, whether it was family, friendship or love, which made her very sensitive and cautious, and she was wary of almost everyone. In fact, Xiaoxiao's worry was not wrong at all. If the person who found the cave was not Xiaoxiao, but other adventurers, Xiao Fan might not kill people to steal the treasure. Xiao Fan took Xiaoxiao and Xiao Wu, and flew directly to the entrance of the cave on Xiao Jin. Then he took Xiao Wu and Xiaoxiao and landed at the entrance of the cave. As for Xiao Jin, he let it fly to the sky temporarily. Swoosh! Just as the three of them landed, a sound of breaking through the air suddenly came from the entrance of the cave. Xiao Fan swept his soul power and easily recognized that the attacker was a snake. A first-level monster rock snake. It seems that this rock snake has been living in this cave. Xiao Fan thought in his heart, and he sent out a fighting spirit, instantly knocking the rock snake to the ground. Zzzz. After the rock snake landed, it immediately lost its breath of life, and arcs of lightning appeared on its body, and it was instantly turned into charcoal by the arcs of lightning. Xiaoxiao watched Xiao Fan easily get rid of the rock snake, and her eyes flickered. It seems that even without the demon beast, his own strength is very strong. Xiao Wu has long known that Xiao Fan is powerful, so she is not surprised by this. Let's go and see what treasures are in this cave. Xiao Fan casually dealt with the rock snake, and then used his fighting spirit to clean the cave entrance, and then said to Xiaoxiao and Xiao Wu. Xiao Fan walked in front with a fire starter in his hand, and the two women followed Xiao Fan silently, going deep into the cave. After walking for more than 10 minutes, Xiao Fan found a stone door emitting a pale yellow light in front of him. Let's look for it together to see if there is any mechanism. I'm afraid that if I use force, it will destroy the treasure behind the stone door, Xiao Fan said to the two women behind him after he stopped. When it comes to treasure hunting, people should always feel a sense of participation. He can't do everything alone. Look at the pale yellow light on the stone door. There should be earth-based mechanical arts here. As long as you find the trick, it shouldn't be difficult to open the stone door. Xiaoxiao carefully looked at the stone door in front of her and murmured. Xiao Fan gave Xiaoxiao a thumbs up. You know mechanical arts? Not bad. Then quickly find the trick to open the mechanism. If you can't find it, I can only break the door violently. Xiaoxiao was very pleased to hear Xiao Fan's praise. She said modestly, I have only read some books on mechanical arts. I can't be considered proficient, but it's no problem to use it for detection. While speaking, Xiaoxiao stretched out her little hand to touch the stone door, and then slowly moved it. Xiao Wu also looked around curiously, hoping to find something. Found it. After a while, Xiaoxiao made a happy voice, and at the same time pressed her palm on a bulge in the stone door. The stone door slowly moved upwards with a creaking sound, and a passage appeared in front of the three people. Great! Xiao Fan gave a thumbs up and praised Xiaoxiao, then said, Follow me. Be careful, in case there are any traps or something like that. After that, Xiao Fan took the lead and walked out into the passage. Xiao Yixian and Xiao Wu followed Xiao Fan, silently looking at Xiao Fan's back, and a faint warmth rose in their hearts. There were naturally no traps behind the passage, let alone any danger. After passing through the passage behind the stone door, the three of them entered a huge stone chamber. The walls of the stone chamber were inlaid with moonstones for lighting. In the middle of the stone chamber, a gloomy skeleton sat on a chair. In front of the chair, there was a rather wide and long blue stone platform, on which 3 locked stone boxes were neatly placed. In the 4 corners of the stone chamber, 3 of them were piled with gold coins, and the last one was a small flower bed, in which various spiritual medicines were planted. When Xiaoxian saw the spiritual medicine in the small flower bed, surprise suddenly appeared in her eyes, and she excitedly read out the names of the spiritual medicines one by one: purple blue leaves, white ginseng fruit, snow lotus seeds. Xiao Fan smiled slightly. This is indeed the treasure room. It seems we have come to the right place. When Xiaoxian heard Xiao Fan's words, the joy in her heart couldn't help but fade a little. Originally, these things should have all belonged to her, but unfortunately now. Xiao Fan looked at the appearance of Xiaoxian and couldn't help but laugh. How about this? You discovered this cave first. Let you choose half of the items first, and the rest will belong to me. How about it? Xiaoxian felt a little better when she heard this. Then thank you for your kindness. Xiao Fan said, open the 3 boxes first. Maybe the things inside are more precious than the spiritual medicine. Xiaoxian, who wanted to pick the spiritual medicine, couldn't help but stop when she heard Xiao Fan's words, and looked at the 3 stone boxes. How do I open this stone box? At this time, Xiao Wu on the side suddenly said, look, there are 3 keys in the palm of the skeleton. Xiao Fan actually found the key. After hearing Xiao Wu's words, he stepped forward and took down the key, and also took down a small scroll from the crack of the dry bones. What is this? Xiao Fan did not learn from Xiao Yan to take the scroll secretly, so Xiaoxian also saw the scroll. Xiao Fan opened the scroll and took a look, shrugged slightly and said, a fragmentary map. As he said that, Xiao Fan casually handed the fragmentary map to Xiaoxian, and then used the key to open the 3 stone boxes. Soon, the 3 exercises in the stone boxes also appeared in the sight of the 3 people. Xiao Fan looked at Xiaoxian and smiled faintly. What are you going to choose? Anyway, in Xiao Fan's heart, Xiaoxian would be his own sooner or later, so it was no big deal to give in to her. Chapter 43, Sharing the Spoils and Harvest. New members joining the group. After hearing this, Xiaoxian pondered for a moment, and then said, I choose this 7-colored poison scripture, and these spiritual medicines. The other 2 fighting skills belong to you, and the incomplete map will be given to you if you want it. We will split the last gold coins equally. Do you agree? Although Xiaoxian wanted the flying fighting skill very much, she had to give up the flying fighting skill for the 7-colored poison scripture. Xiao Fan nodded and said, no problem, I will accept this incomplete map. If I can get it complete in the future, maybe there will be a surprise. The Zhuan level fighting skill scroll can be reused, and we can all practice it. However, I also want to take a look at the 7-colored poison scripture first. Is that okay? Xiaoxian's eyes flashed. Okay. But I have to wait until we get back to King Shan Town. I can't delay too long, otherwise it may arouse the suspicion of the mercenaries on the cliff. Okay. You pick the spiritual medicine first, and I will collect all these gold coins. After returning, I will take them out and give you half. Xiao Fan did not deliberately give Xiaoxian more things, which made Xiaoxian feel more at ease. Xiaoxian looked at Xiao Fan and waved his hand, and then he put all of the gold coins into the ring in his hand, and envy appeared in his eyes. Xiao Fan smiled and said, these gold coins are enough to buy a smaller ring. You can buy one when you have a chance. Xiaoxian said, storage rings are not so easy to buy. At least I haven't heard of anyone selling storage rings in King Shan Town. With this in mind, Xiaoxian still stepped forward and carefully picked all the spiritual herbs in the corner of the stone room. Xiao Fan looked at Xiaoxian's fat waist and couldn't help but laugh. Do you want me to keep these spiritual herbs for you first, and you can come to King Shan Town to pick them up? Xiaoxian said with some vigilance. You are not going to regret it and want to take these spiritual herbs away too? Xiao Fan rolled his eyes at Xiaoxiao and said unhappily, "Your kindness is taken for granted. Let's go. Get out." After that, Xiao Fan took Wu directly out of the cave. Xiaoxiao hesitated for a moment, then said, "I'm sorry, I was too petty. Why don't you help me put these spiritual herbs in the ring first? Otherwise I'm afraid those mercenaries will see them when I go out." Xiao Fan was not angry at all. Hearing Xiaoxian's words, he casually said, "Bring them here." Soon, Xiao Fan collected almost all the spiritual herbs picked by Xiaoxian into the ring, leaving only a few as a show. Then, the three of them left the cave. Xiao Fan summoned Zhao Jin and flew them to the edge of the cliff. After putting Xiaoxian on the ground, he and Zhao Wu took Zhao Jin directly back to the inn in Qingshan town. Before leaving, Xiao Fan naturally told Xiaoxian where he lived in Qingshan town. After returning to the inn, Xiao Fan and Zhao Wu finished dinner and went back to their rooms. That night, Xiaoxian came to the inn to find Xiao Fan. "Hey, you should comprehend this Zhuan level intermediate fighting skill, the roar of the wild lion, first." Seeing that Xiaoxian arrived as promised, Xiao Fan directly handed the fighting skill scroll he got from the cave to Xiaoxian. Xiaoxian took the fighting skill scroll, took out another scroll from her arms and handed it to Xiao Fan. "Here you go." Xiao Fan smiled slightly, stretched out his hand to take the scroll, and it was the 7-colored poison sutra that was recorded on it. Xiao Fan first read the contents of the 7-colored poison sutra, and then began to comprehend it. No matter what world it is, poison is a force that cannot be ignored. Xiao Fan doesn't want to be overturned by poison one day, so naturally he has to comprehend this 7-colored poison sutra. You began to comprehend the 7-colored poison sutra. With the blessing of your extraordinary understanding, you soon mastered the essence of the 7-colored poison sutra, learned many methods of making and detoxifying poisons, and even learned how to swallow poison to improve your strength. You are not satisfied with this, and you study it deeply. Suddenly, you have an epiphany and create a new skill, the 10,000 Poison Sutra. In addition to the functions of the 7-colored Poison Sutra, you can also directly refine and absorb poisons to improve yourself, and even let your fighting spirit carry a highly toxic attack. It seems pretty good. After a while, Xiao Fan slowly closed the scroll of the 7-colored Poison Sutra, thinking secretly in his heart. At this time, Xiaoxian had just finished reading the scroll of the Kuang Shiyin fighting skill. Xiao Fan had nothing to do, so he took out the flying fighting skill Zunwing and comprehended it. You began to comprehend the flying fighting skill Zunwing. With the blessing of your heaven-defying understanding, you quickly comprehended the essence of it and understood the production principle and use of this fighting skill. You think that the production principle and practice method of Zunwing are too inferior, so you study hard and want to create a more advanced flying fighting skill that can be practiced without the help of external objects. You suddenly have an epiphany, and based on the purple cloud wings, you deduce and create a new flying fighting skill, the Flying Sky Wings. This fighting skill only requires mobilizing the running path of the fighting spirit, and does not require any external assistance to achieve the purpose of flying. After Xiao Fan finished comprehending the 7-colored Poison Sutra and Purple Cloud Wings, Little Medical Fairy finally finished comprehending the Mad Lion's chant. "Okay, I'll return the fighting scroll to you." Xiao Fan took the Mad Lion's chant's fighting scroll and also returned the scroll of the 7-colored Poison Sutra to Little Medical Fairy. "This is yours." Little Medical Fairy kindly reminded, "Poisons are difficult to master without years of research. If you want to delve into poisons, it's best to find an experienced poison master to learn the basics." Xiao Fan nodded and said, "I will, thanks for the reminder. Shall I give you those gold coins and elixirs now?" Little Medical Fairy thought for a moment and said, "Give me the elixirs first. I can't take so many gold coins with me." Xiao Fan nodded slightly, took out all the elixirs that Little Medical Fairy had picked in the cave from the storage ring and returned them to her. Looking at Xiaoxian who was about to leave, Xiao Fan suddenly thought of the time when he went to Wanyao's High to find her to pick herbs. "By the way, I am going to the Magic Beast Mountain Range to pick some spiritual herbs, but I have limited knowledge in this area. Can you help me identify the herbs? I can give you 10% of the spiritual herbs I pick." Xiaoxian hesitated for a moment, Only 10%? Can you tell me what your current strength is? Xiao Fan said lightly. Huang, with my strength, I can travel freely in most areas of the Magic Beast mountain range. Needless to say, the quality of the spiritual herbs I picked is very high. The value of 10% of the spiritual herbs is also very high. Xiaoxiao was shocked when she heard what Xiao Fan said. What did you say? You are Huang? Xiaoxiao was really a little unbelievable. In the vast area of the northwest continent, Huang's strongmen are very rare. Xiao Fan looks only about 17 or 18 years old, but he is already a Huang. How can Xiaoxiao not be shocked? Xiao Fan smiled calmly. Yes, it's Huang. You don't have to worry about me going back on my word or silencing you. With my Huang strength, if someone wants to harm you, do you think you have room to resist? Xiaoxiao's mind was churning, and after a while, she slowly said, how long will it take to go to the Magic Beast mountain range? Xiao Fan said, it will only take 7 days, and every night, I will take you back to King Shan town. Xiaoxiao pondered for a while and felt that Xiao Fan was right. If he really wanted to harm her, she would not have any capital to resist. Moreover, after these few times of getting along, Xiaoxiao felt that Xiao Fan was a trustworthy person. Okay, I promise you, but I have to go back and prepare first. After pondering for a while, Xiaoxiao agreed. Xiao Fan nodded and said, of course, no problem. After the two agreed, Xiaoxiao said goodbye and left. Xiao Fan also comprehended and deduced the Wild Lion's song, and then uploaded all the 5 martial arts fighting skills except the purple cloud wing to the chat group. The 7-colored poison scripture was exchanged for 900,000 points. The 10,000 poison scripture was exchanged for 3 million points. The flying wing was exchanged for 100,000 points. And the Wild Lion chant and the subsequent fighting skills were exchanged for a total of 10,000 points, another 4 million points. Not bad. Xiao Fan checked his games and was quite satisfied. Ding! A new group member is about to join the group. At this moment, Xiao Fan suddenly received a reminder from the 10,000 Worlds chat group in his mind, but the other people in the group did not respond. It seems that this is the reason why Xiaoxiao was able to know in advance that someone had joined the group. Xiao Fan whispered, and then sent a message in the group. Xiao Fan, at all members, a new person is about to join the group. Everyone come out to welcome him. Please recommend votes, monthly votes, 5-star reviews, rewards, and all data. Thank you for the support of all readers. I wish you all the best and make a fortune. Chapter 44. The style of the chat group is gradually distorted. Ding. Yin Kui sect Saint Maiden Wan Wan. Join the chat group. Soon, a prompt was issued on the chat group interface. Yan Lingjai, welcome newcomers to the group. Applause. Yi Wen, welcome newcomers. Xiaoxiao, welcome, welcome. Qian Renxu, I wonder what world the newcomers come from. Curious. Huang Rong, welcome newcomers. At Xiaoxiao, do you know what the newcomers are? Xiao Fan, at Wan Wan, welcome Miss Wan Wan to join the chat group. If you have any questions, you can ask at Xiaoxiao. She is most familiar with the chat group. Xiaoxiao, thank you for the recognition of the group leader. I will introduce the chat group function to the newcomers. Bao Fist. The world of the legend of the 2 dragons of the Tang dynasty. Yin Kui sect. Wan Wan had just finished her training and was about to go back to her room to rest when a series of voices suddenly rang in her mind, and she couldn't help but feel a little surprised. Wan Wan silently checked the chat record interface and quickly confirmed that it was not an illusion. Thank you everyone, but what is this chat group for? Xiaoxiao, at. I am here on behalf of the group leader to tell you about the functions of the chat group. Xiaoxiao, the 10,000 Worlds chat group can first allow people from all the heavens and the 10,000 worlds to communicate. Not long after, Xiaoxiao began to talk about the basic functions of the chat group to just as she had told Xiao Fan, Qian Renxu and others. Ding. Signed in successfully and got 500 points. After understanding the basic functions of the chat group, signed into the chat group and sent a message thanking Xiaoxiao. At Xiaoxiao, thank you Miss Su for your explanation. Xiaoxiao, you're welcome. This is all the group leader's order. You should thank the group leader. Xiao Fan looked at Xiaoxiao's speech and couldn't help but shake his head slightly, feeling a little speechless. After Xiao Fan was elected as the new group leader of the chat group, Xiaoxiao had no choice but to reveal her identity. Afterwards, the first thing Xiaoxiao did in the group every day was to flatter Xiao Fan, and then to sign in. Xiao Fan felt that Xiaoxiao's persistence and enthusiasm were difficult to bear, followed suit and immediately expressed her gratitude to Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan, thank you, group leader. Xiao Fan, don't be like Xiaoxiao, it's fate to be able to join the chat group, and everyone just gets along like friends. You can study the functions of the chat group by yourself first, and ask in the group if you don't understand. Yan Lingjai, brother Xiao Fan is the best, love you. Blowing a kiss, Xiao Fan, okay, thank you. I'll try the other functions of the chat group first. You guys chat first. After sent a message, she began to study the functions of the chat group. What interested Xiaoxian the most was, of course, the function of using points to improve her cultivation. Unfortunately, it takes 1000 points to upgrade to a Grandmaster level, and she only got 500 points when she signed in. Afterwards, Xiaoxian studied the chat group small function. When she saw the various techniques displayed in the chat group mall, she was immediately jealous. There is even the lost Dao heart planting demon technique of the Saint sect. Suddenly, Xiaoxian saw that the Dao heart planting demon technique was also on sale in the chat group mall, and she couldn't help but be surprised. Unfortunately, the Dao heart planting demon technique requires 900 points, and she can't afford it. It seems that the most precious thing in this chat group is points. I need to find a way to earn more points. Xiaoxian was a person with a clear mind. After a while, she grasped the key points and then immersed her consciousness in the chat group again. I have roughly understood the functions of the chat group, but it seems that it is difficult to earn points. Does anyone have any good ways to earn points? Xiaoxiao, the fastest and best way to earn points is of course to cling to the thigh of the group leader. Xiaoxiao, when Huangrong, Yan Lingjai and Qian Renxu first joined the group, they were all weaklings. Just because they cling to the thigh of the group leader, Huangrong and Yan Lingjai have been promoted to the Grandmaster level, and Qian Renxu is even a powerful land immortal. Xiaoxiao, Xiao Fan, group leader, cling to your thigh. I am your loyal little fan. Yan Lingjai, I am the first one to break through the Grandmaster level with the help of brother Xiao Fan. Proud. Huangrong, brother Xiao Fan is the best. If it weren't for brother Xiao Fan's help, I would still be in the Xiantian realm. Hug. Yi Wen, he is also very grateful for the help of Mr. Zhao. Thanks, Zhu Yuanzhang. Mr. Zhao's generosity is recognized by everyone. Bo. Qian Renxu, what a pity, all of you little Kurami together are not enough for me to beat up. Of course, Master Zhao is the strongest. Proud. Yan Lingjai, damn Qian Renxu, I must earn points as soon as possible and surpass you soon. Knock. Huangrong, I will leave immediately and plunder the treasury of the Jin dynasty to exchange for points. If it is not enough, I will plunder the treasuries of Dali, Mongolia, and Song. Humphrey. Zhu Yuanzhang, ahem. Miss Huang plundered the treasury just because of a disagreement. I am a little scared. Huangrong, at Zhu Yuanzhang, I will not plunder your treasury. What are you afraid of? Moreover, even if I want to plunder the treasury of the Ming dynasty, I can't beat you. Smirk. Xiaoxiao, I still think that clinging to the thigh of the group leader is the best shortcut to promotion. Group leader, the eternal god. Kneel down. Xiao Fan looked at the messages in the chat group and was speechless. Under the lead of Xiaoxiao, the tone of the group gradually became distorted. Xiao Fan, at Xiaoxiao, be normal. If you go crazy again, I will ban you. Xiaoxiao, yes, sir. Serious face. Xiao Fan, there are many ways to earn points. You can upload your skills to the chat group mall, or you can collect some treasures and upload them. In addition, if there are any treasures in your world, you can get rich overnight. Xiao Fan, thank you for your advice, Mr. Zhao. Thanks. In the world of demon resurrection, Xiaoxiao saw the conversation between Xiao Fan and her eyes lit up. Isn't this an opportunity to earn points right at her doorstep? Xiaoxiao, at, Miss, I know that there is a Yanggong treasure house in your world, which contains many treasures and the relics of the evil emperor. If all of them are uploaded to the chat group, the points that can be exchanged will definitely be very exaggerated. Do you want to know where the Yanggong treasure house is? In the world of the legend of the two heroes of the Tang dynasty, saw the message sent by Xiaoxiao, and her eyes suddenly condensed slightly. How could this Xiaoxiao know that there is a Yanggong treasure house in their world, and also know the specific location? Thinking in her heart, directly sent the question in the chat group, at Xiaoxiao, Miss Su, how did you know that there is a Yanggong treasure house in our world, and what do you want me to pay? Xiaoxiao, at, how did I know this? It's very troublesome to explain. Anyway, I just know it. And I also know the original destiny of you and your master. Your master is Zhu Yuanzhang, the leader of the Yinggai sect. Back then, Xiaoxiao quickly recounted what she knew about the fate of Kankan and Zhu Yuanzhang. Kankan was shocked after reading Xiaoxiao's news, because what Xiaoxiao described, at least what had happened, all matched up. Xiaoxiao, at Kankan, my request is very simple. I will tell you the specific location of Yanggong's treasure house and how to enter the treasure house. When the time comes, you can exchange all the treasures in the treasure house for points and give me 10% as a reward. How about that? Please recommend. Please vote for the monthly ticket. Please give me a 5-star rating. Please give me a reward. And please give me all the data support. I wish the readers who support this book will make a fortune every day. It feels like it has been very deserted since it was put on the shelves. Uncomfortable. Chapter 45. The group leader is here to play. The world of the legend of the twin dragons of the Tang dynasty, the Yingui sect. Wan looked at Xiaoxiao's message, hesitated for a moment, and finally chose to agree to Xiaoxiao's conditions. After all, if Xiaoxiao hadn't told her, she might not be able to find Yanggong's treasure house, and even if she could find it, she didn't know when it would be. After making the decision, Wan immediately responded in the group. Wan, at Xiaoxiao, if your message is correct, I can really get the treasure in Yanggong's treasure house, and after exchanging points, I will give you 10%. Xiaoxiao, that's settled. Everyone in the group can testify. So don't regret it when the time comes. Through the chat group, you can travel to other worlds. Wan, at Xiaoxiao, don't worry, I won't regret it. Xiaoxiao, there are 4 entrances and exits to Yanggong's treasure house, namely Yong'an Canal, the Well in Ziji Garden, the Imperial City, and the last secret passage outside Xinan City. Among them, the best to enter is naturally the Well in Ziji Garden. In addition, there are also, in the world of the legend of the two heroes of the Tang dynasty, Wan looked at Xiaoxiao's introduction to Yanggong's treasure house, and her eyes flickered. Seeing that Xiaoxiao described it so thoroughly, Wan couldn't help but believe Xiaoxiao's words a little more. Wan was looking forward to getting the treasures in Yanggong's treasure house. Xiaoxiao, at Wan, by the way, after you enter Yanggong's treasure house, it's best not to open the evil emperor's relic, just upload it to the chat group mall to exchange points. Otherwise, once the aura is leaked, the evil King Shizixuan, Fan King Ui of Sihang High, and other masters of both the righteous and evil ways in the world will all be attracted. Before you exchange points to improve your cultivation, you are afraid that you are no match for these people. Wan, thank you Miss Su for your advice. I will pay attention. I didn't expect that this Xiaoxiao knew so much about the situation in their world. Thinking in her heart, Qian had more confidence in getting Yanggong's treasure house. Qi world. In the inn room of King Shan Town, Xiao Fan watched Qian and Xiaoxiao's conversation, but did not intervene, nor did he compete with Xiaoxiao for this benefit. Now Fan wants to improve his cultivation again. Each small realm needs 10 million points. It is still difficult to improve by accumulating points. Now he is only about to break through Zhong. When he reaches Zun, Sheng, and D later, the points required are probably astronomical. Therefore, What Xiao Fan cares more about is the sign-in opportunity he can get after the new members join. The rewards obtained from the previous sign-ins have made Xiao Fan very satisfied. In addition, according to the previous group prompts, mutual help in the chat group may promote the development and growth of the chat group, and it can also join new members faster. This is more important to Xiao Fan. Even so, Xiao Fan feels that he should let Xiaoxiao know that she can get this benefit because he gave it to her. Thinking in his heart, Xiao Fan sent a message in the group again. Xiao Fan, what Xiaoxiao said is correct. I also know something about the situation in your world. In addition to Shizixun and Fan King Ui, there are actually many masters, such as Tan Dao Songke, Sangren Ningdeki, Wu Zun Baijuan, etc. Although they may not take the initiative to fight for the evil emperor's relics, if someone asks them to take action, I am afraid that your Yungui sect may not be able to keep the Yanggong treasure house and the evil emperor's relics. Xiao Fan, in addition to the powerful energy of the evil emperors of the past generations of demon sects, the evil emperor's relics also carry the broken spiritual thoughts of the past generations of evil emperors. If you absorb the energy directly, you may be disturbed by the powerful residual thoughts inside and go crazy. Therefore, exchanging points with the evil emperor's relics is the best choice. Xiao Fan, thank you for the reminder, Master Xiao. After getting the evil emperor's relics, I will upload it together with the pottery jar to the chat group mall to exchange points. Xiao Fan, you're welcome. It's a fate that everyone can join this chat group from all over the world. I hope everyone in the group can live in harmony, help each other, and grow together. Yan Lingjai, Xiao Fan, I will definitely listen to what Brother Xiao Fan says. Blowing a kiss, Huang Rong, Xiao Fan, I support Brother Xiao Fan. All the members in the group have received help from Brother Xiao Fan. Support, Qian Renxu, if there is no Master Xiao, there will be no me today. I will also abide by Master Xiao's requirements. Yi Wen, the same is true for Yi Zhu Yuanzhang. Everyone has said what we want to say. In short, it is right to support Master Xiao. Bao Fist, Yan Lingjai, Xiaoxiao, you just said a few words casually, and you still want to ask Miss Qian for a 10% benefit. Isn't it guilty? Liao, in the world of demon resurrection, Xiaoxiao saw the message sent by Xiao Fan and couldn't help but be a little stunned. She didn't expect Xiao Fan to know the news of the world of the legend of the twin dragons of the Tang dynasty. Then she thought about it. In the original novel of Doupo that she had read before, Emperor Yan did not have a third brother. At this moment, Xiaoxiao suddenly realized it belatedly. Xiaoxiao did not care about the news about Yan Lingjai. What could she, Xiaoxiao, feel guilty about? Xiaoxiao, Xiao Fan, group leader, how do you know about the world of the legend of the two heroes of the Tang dynasty? Are you also a time traveler? Surprised, Xiao Fan, Xiaoxiao, correct answer, but unfortunately no prize. I thought you had guessed it a long time ago, but I didn't expect to find out now. You are really slow. Picking nose, Xiaoxiao, the group leader is right. I am slow. Kowtow, Kankan, what is a time traveler? Curious, Xiao Fan, Xiaoxiao, explain it to Ms. Kankan. Xiaoxiao, yes, group leader, holding fists. Xiaoxiao, a time traveler is, so that's how it is. No wonder the group leader and Ms. Su both know about the things in my world. No matter what, I have to thank both of you for reminding me. Thanks, Xiaoxiao, Xiao Fan, thank the group leader for giving me the opportunity. Kowtow, Yan Lingjai, Xiaoxiao, Brother Xiao Fan is not like you, who would take advantage of the group members. Naughty, Miss Su was able to give me accurate information, which is a great help to me. It is only right that I give Miss Su 10% of the benefits. Xiaoxiao, Yan Lingjai, did you see that? Miss is a real visionary. Raising eyebrows, Xiao Fan, okay, it's getting late. I'm going to rest. I'll log off first, and we'll talk next time. Waving, Yan Lingjai, Xiao Fan, good night. Brother Xiao Fan, good night. Huang Rong, Xiao Fan, good night. Brother Xiao Fan, good night. Xiaoxiao, Xiao Fan, good night to the group leader. Come to our world when you have time. Seduction. Qian Renxu, Xiao Fan, Yuan. After Yan Lingjai, all the members in the group sent goodnight messages to Xiao Fan. After Xiao Fan went offline, Qian Renxu, Zhu Yuanzhang and Yuan also chose to go offline. Su Xiaoxiao, Yan Lingjai, Huang Rong and Qian continued to play in the group. Xiao Fan was accustomed to this situation and didn't care much. After exiting the chat group interface, Xiao Fan first checked his points, finally broke through 10 million. After checking his points, Xiao Fan whispered to himself. Xiao Fan was a little hesitant now. Should he use 10 million points to break through to the Zong realm directly, or should he sign in first? Maybe the sign-in reward will allow him to break through directly. Chapter 46, Little Medical Fairy's Thoughts, New Sign-in. After a brief pause, Xiao Fan decided that he would not use the 10 million points for the time being and would sign in first. Before, Xiao Fan almost forgot that there was another demon revival world that he had not signed in. Now as the group leader, Xiao Fan can go directly to the other party's world without the invitation of the group members. Xiao Fan thought about it. Unless there were special circumstances, he should tell the other party when he went to the world of other members, so as to avoid any embarrassing situations. After all, every time he traveled to the world of a group member, he would appear not far from the other party. There was no need to rush. Xiao Fan sorted out his thoughts and then went to rest directly. There was no conversation all night. The next morning, after Xiao Fan got up, he signed in the chat group as usual, chatted a few words, and then enjoyed breakfast with Xiao Wu in the inn. The two had just finished breakfast when Xiaoxiao came. When Xiao Fan saw Xiaoxiao coming as promised, he smiled a little. "Miss Xiaoxiao, have you had breakfast?" Xiaoxiao nodded and said, "I've already had breakfast at Wanyao's High." Xiao Fan nodded slightly. "In that case, let's go directly. Leave the town first, and then let Xiao Jun take us to the middle of the monster mountain range." Xiaoxiao and Xiao Wu had no objection to this. Immediately, the three of them left Qingshan town. When they reached the deserted place outside the town, Xiao Fan released Xiao Jun again and took the three of them to the monster mountain range. With Xiao Fan, they were completely rampant in the monster mountain range, and no monster could stop them from picking spiritual medicine. By the way, Xiao Fan also plundered a lot of monster collections. Seeing that Xiaoxiao knew all the spiritual medicines in the magical beast mountain range, Xiao Fan couldn't help but give her a thumbs up and praised her. Xiaoxiao is really amazing. There are almost no spiritual medicines in the magical beast mountain range that you don't know. Before Xiao Fan got the golden finger, he was devoted to cultivation and had not systematically studied the knowledge of spiritual medicines, so his knowledge of spiritual medicines was very limited. It was only after he comprehended the seven-colored poison sutra that he could easily identify some spiritual medicines with poisonous properties, so his praise for Xiaoxiao was from the heart. Xiao Fan originally asked Xiaoxiao to help him pick spiritual medicines, but in fact, his main intention was to get closer to Xiaoxiao. Now Xiaoxiao has indeed given him a lot of help in picking spiritual medicines, which can be regarded as an unexpected surprise. Xiaoxiao said lightly, "As a doctor, I naturally have to study more about medicinal herbs." In fact, Xiaoxiao had a dream of becoming a pharmacist in her heart, but unfortunately, after she accidentally discovered the special nature of her physique, she realized that she had no hope of becoming a pharmacist, and she was always very disappointed. Most of the time, Xiao Wu followed Xiao Fan silently, like a follower, without saying much. After all, she was too unfamiliar with this world, and Xiaoxiao didn't like to make friends with others, so Xiao Wu only spoke to Xiao Fan occasionally. At noon, the three of them stayed directly in the monster mountain range. Xiao Fan used the methods of his previous life to make some food that was different from the style of the Dqi world, but at the same time he gained a lot of favor from Xiaoxiao and Xiao Wu. After lunch, Xiaoxiao sat lazily on a rock and said in surprise, "I never thought that a man like you could make such delicious food." Xiao Wu nodded and said, "Yes, I have never eaten such special food before." Young Master Xiao is not only powerful, but also proficient in everything. I really admire him. Xiao Fan smiled and said, "You just feel novel because you know this kind of different style of food for the first time. If you eat more, you won't be so surprised." In addition, who says that men can't make delicious food. It seems that most of the chefs in the restaurant are men, right? Xiaoxiao said. How is that the same? You are a strong man who has reached the Duang realm at a young age. Cultivation must occupy most of your time. You also have time to study food, which is very different from other strong men. Xiao Fan shrugged slightly, without blushing at all, and said, I don't actually spend as much time practicing as you think. The way to practice mainly depends on talent. The three of them chatted and laughed, but they actually got closer. After a break after lunch, the three of them started to search the monster mountain again. Busy time always passes quickly. In a blink of an eye, it was evening, and the sun had already set over the mountain. Xiao Fan saw that it was almost dark, so he took Xiao Wu and Xiaoxiao and rode Xiao Jin again, returning to King Shan Town. These spiritual medicines are your reward, take them. When they were about to part, Xiao Fan took out 1/10 of today's harvest from the ring, wrapped it up simply and handed it to Xiaoxiao. Xiaoxiao looked at Xiao Fan deeply. I am studying the 7-colored poison sutra, and I really need spiritual medicines. This time, just think of it as taking advantage of you. I will repay you when I have the chance in the future. The experience of picking herbs on this day made Xiaoxiao feel like she was picking herbs in her own medicine garden, without any danger. Moreover, the spiritual medicines picked on this day, in terms of value, are probably more than what she had harvested in the past 5 years. Even if it was only 1/10, it was almost equivalent to her harvest in the past 6 months. After all, most of the spiritual medicines that Xiao Fan picked with her were of high quality. She used to be happy for a long time when she could pick second-grade spiritual medicines, and the number of times she picked third-grade spiritual medicines was really few and far between. Xiaoxiao felt that Xiao Fan gave her 10% of the elixir, which was a great bargain for her. Xiao Fan smiled slightly. This is the agreed reward. You don't need to think too much. Xiaoxiao didn't say anything more after hearing this, silently remembered the matter in her heart, and then turned and left. Xiao Fan took Xiao Wu back to the inn again. After dinner, Xiao Fan and Xiao Wu returned to their respective rooms. Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly, and he sank into the chat group interface. In the chat group, Su Xiaoxiao, Huang Rong, and Yan Lingjai were crazy about the group, and Qian and Qian Renxu only sent a message occasionally. Xiao Fan, at Su Xiaoxiao, is it convenient now? I'll go to your world to see what the so-called demon resurrection is like. Su Xiaoxiao, at Xiao Fan, the group leader is coming. Of course it's convenient at any time, even if he's taking a shower. Welcome. Since Su Xiaoxiao revealed her identity, she has completely let herself go. Yan Lingjai, at Su Xiaoxiao, you are so shameless, seducing my brother Xiao Fan. Knock. Huang Rong, at Su Xiaoxiao, Yan Lingjai is right, you are so shameless. HMPH. Huang Rong, at Yan Lingjai. But when did brother Xiao Fan become yours? You are shameless too. Knock. Xiao Fan, that's enough of you three. At Su Xiaoxiao, is it convenient there? If you are really taking a shower, then forget it. I don't want to get a sty. Picking nose. Su Xiaoxiao, I was kidding. I wasn't taking a shower. Group leader, this is too hurtful. Sad. Xiao Fan, then I will go directly over. Su Xiaoxiao, welcome group leader. Yan Lingjai, it's over. Brother Xiao Fan was seduced away by the little goblin Su Xiaoxiao. Xiao Fan did not reply to the messages in the group anymore, and directly traveled to the demon revival world where Su Xiaoxiao was through the chat group system. Sign in. Xiao Fan had just traveled to the world where demons were revived, and he gave the system a sign-in command in his heart. Chapter 47 The Magical Awakening Pool. Su Xiaoxiao's Temptation. Ding. Sign-in successful. Congratulations to the host, you have obtained an awakening pool. Note, when a practitioner enters the awakening pool, he can awaken his bloodline, physique, supernatural power, magical power, etc. Each person can only use it once, but it can be reused by different people. After each use, the awakening pool will be automatically purified. Hearing the content of the system reward, Xiao Fan was suddenly surprised. This awakening pool is really a good thing. Moreover, after he used it himself, he could also let his father and 3 brothers use it. You know, Their Xiao family has the bloodline of the ancient Doupo, but it is very rare now. Since this awakening pool can awaken blood, then the 5 of them, father and son, will be able to awaken the bloodline of the Doupo. As for the other people in the Xiao family, it will be decided later whether to grant them the opportunity to use the awakening pool. Group leader: I didn't expect you to be so handsome. I am moved by you. Xiao Fan was thinking about the awakening pool in his heart, and Xiaoxiao's voice came to his ears. Xiao Fan withdrew his mind from the awakening pool and looked at Xiaoxiao, who had a huge contrast between before and after. She had a baby face, beautiful eyes and eyebrows, and was not very tall, which made her look a little petite, but her figure was very full. Judging from her face, she seemed quite young, but her figure seemed quite mature and full. Xiao Fan raised his eyebrows slightly. How old are you? 36D, all natural, Xiaoxiao answered immediately. Xiao Fan couldn't help but frown when he heard this. I'm talking about age. What are you thinking about? Xiaoxiao giggled. I'm already 22. Don't worry, you big-head ghost. Xiao Fan glared at Xiaoxiao and said unhappily, can you be normal? Xiaoxiao sighed slightly. Okay, I understand. It seems that the group leader doesn't like too much initiative. Then, Xiaoxiao pretended to be aloof. Hello, Mr. Xiao. Let me introduce myself formally. My name is Xiaoxiao. I'm 22 this year, and I'm currently the female president of a listed company. Xiao Fan ignored Xiaoxiao and casually looked around. It was seen that Xiaoxiao lived in an ordinary house, and the view was good. Looking out of the window, you can see the busy streets outside. Xiao Fan looked at the modern city outside, and couldn't help but think of the world before he traveled through time. So he felt a bit familiar with this world of demon resurrection. Xiaoxiao watched Xiao Fan look at the streets outside, blinked her eyes and said, how about I be a guide for Mr. Xiao and take a walk outside? Okay. Xiao Fan nodded slightly. Then, Xiaoxiao took Xiao Fan to stroll on the streets outside. While strolling around, Xiaoxiao introduced, it has been 30 years since the demons revived. Now all countries have adapted to the world of demons revived. Although the power grid and transportation are damaged from time to time due to demon attacks, they can still operate normally when they are not attacked by demons. Xiao Fan nodded slightly and asked casually, how strong are the demons? Xiaoxiao stretched out her hand to push back her long hair and said softly, I only know that they are very strong, but I don't know to what extent. After the demons revived, the human world has set off a craze for ancient martial arts and superpowers. Ancient martial artists and superpowers are the darlings of the new era and have a lot of say. At the same time, they are also responsible for resisting the attacks of demons. Xiao Fan was not surprised by this and asked again, I see that you are now a grandmaster. What level are you in this world? Xiaoxiao said, in the world of demons revived, ancient martial artists are divided into acquired, innate, grandmaster, great grandmaster, and king. I am barely in the middle level now, but the legendary king level is not the highest level. Under the guidance of Xiaoxiao, Xiao Fan casually strolled around the streets outside, and at the same time he also had a certain understanding of this world of demon resurrection. According to Xiaoxiao, the so-called demon resurrection was because more than 30 years ago, Japan discharged nuclear contaminated water into the sea, and many mutant creatures were first born in the ocean. Then, spreading from the ocean to the land, more and more birds and beasts mutated, and became the various demons today. Even some humans were forced to become inhumane demons. After wandering around the street for a while, at Xiao Fan's request, the two returned to Xiaoxiao's home. Xiao Fan said to Xiaoxiao, in fact, these monsters are opportunities for you to earn points. If you can hunt down a large number of monsters, wouldn't it be easy to get points? Xiaoxiao shrugged. I know that, but I'm too weak. Nowadays, humans and monsters have different living territories. There are rarely monsters in the human territories. Once they appear, they will be immediately killed by people from special departments. And if I go to the monster living area to hunt monsters, I will just die with my strength. Xiao Fan pondered for a moment and suggested, Why don't you try to contact the people in the special department and cooperate with each other? Xiaoxiao said worriedly. I'm afraid they will catch me and slice me for research. You are really cautious. Xiao Fan smiled when he heard this, and then said, you can say that you have mastered the ability of devouring, and you can devour the corpses of monsters to increase your strength. Xiao Fan also admired Xiaoxiao's caution. He himself was a cautious and steady person. Xiaoxiao's eyes lit up. That's a good idea, but I'm still a little worried. After all, I have no one to back me up. If someone in the special department has ulterior motives, I'll be finished. Xiaoxiao looked at Xiao Fan pitifully, and the meaning was self-evident. Xiao Fan shook his head slightly. Okay, stop pretending. If there is really danger, contact me through the chat group and I will help you. The group leader is really wise and powerful. He saw through my thoughts at a glance. Thank you. With you as my backing, I feel much more at ease. Xiaoxiao was overjoyed when she heard this. Xiao Fan was used to Xiaoxiao's constantly changing face, and said lightly, after you contact the people in the special department, find a way to find out the strongest among the demons and what their current strength is. After a while, when I am free, maybe I can help you eliminate those demons. This is the main reason why Xiao Fan asked Xiaoxiao to contact the people in the special department. Xiao Fan was interested in these demons, but for the sake of prudence, he asked Xiaoxiao to investigate the strength of these demons first, and then he would kill them. Not only did he help the humans in this world, but Xiao Fan could also earn points, which was a win-win situation. Xiao Fan felt inexplicably familiar with this world that was somewhat similar to his previous life. When Xiaoxiao heard Xiao Fan's words, she immediately understood his thoughts, but she did not point it out and agreed without hesitation. The two sides chatted for a few more words, and Xiao Fan said goodbye to Xiaoxiao and returned to the Qi world. Let's use the awakening pool first and see how it works. After returning to the inn room in King Shan Town, Xiao Fan was ready to try using the awakening pool. For the sake of caution, Xiao Fan's mind moved slightly and put the awakening pool into the source tower. Then, he also flashed into the source tower. Looking at the mysterious pool filled with mist in the hall of the source tower, Xiao Fan stepped into it without hesitation. Chapter 48 Advancement to Zhong, Conspiracy. As soon as he stepped into the awakening pool, Xiao Fan felt a strange energy pouring into his body from the awakening pool, causing his body to gradually heat up. Not long after, Xiao Fan felt that the blood in his body began to boil, and his body was getting hotter and hotter. Mysterious substances in the awakening pool continued to enter his body and merge into his body and blood. Gradually, Xiao Fan felt that the blood in his body began to flow wildly. With each flow, Xiao Fan felt that the power of the blood became much stronger. At the same time, Xiao Fan seemed to hear waves of dragon roars in his blood. After an hour, this change finally stopped. Xiao Fan sensed that the awakening pool in his body had returned to calm, and his body had no more changes, so he flashed out of the awakening pool. Then, he carefully sensed the condition of his body. I have indeed awakened my bloodline, but it seems that it is not the dowdy bloodline of the Xiao family, but the bloodline of the real dragon. After carefully sensing the situation in the blood, Xiao Fan suddenly had an epiphany in his heart. He awakened the bloodline of the real dragon. The reason for awakening the true dragon bloodline is also very simple. Just because he took a drop of true dragon blood before, it seems that this true dragon bloodline should be stronger than the Emperor bloodline. In the worlds of the universe, the levels of dragons are strong and weak, which is understandable. Xiao Fan muttered to himself, and soon accepted this fact. Xiao Fan found that not only did he awaken the true dragon bloodline, but his cultivation level also soared from the 9-starred Emperor to the 1-starred Zhong. At the same time, his physical strength has also risen to a higher level than before. If nothing unexpected happens, his current physical strength is comparable to that of an 8th-level magic beast. Of course, it is not that the awakening pool has the function of improving cultivation, but after he awakened the true dragon bloodline, the drop of true dragon blood he had taken before was completely refined. While his physical strength soared, the huge energy of the true dragon blood also promoted the improvement of his cultivation. Sure enough, every sign and reward can bring me surprises. and saved 10 million points. Xiao Fan nodded with satisfaction, whispered in his mouth, and then directly chose to use the points to improve his cultivation. You have used 10 million points and your cultivation has been upgraded to a 2-star zong. Xiao Fan felt even happier after hearing the chat group's prompt. An 18-year-old 2-star zong, who else is there? However, after using these 10 million points, Xiao Fan's points were less than 1 million. This was after he exchanged some Warcraft corpses and items such as ores for some points today. By the way, let's see if Xiao Jin can awaken his bloodline. After checking his gains, Xiao Fan suddenly thought of his pet, the golden-winged dapping eagle. Hearing this name, Xiao Fan felt that it was unrealistic to say that it didn't have the dapping bloodline. With a slight movement of his mind, Xiao Fan directly released Xiao Jin and let it enter the awakening pool to try to awaken. Today, Xiao Jin, along with Xiao Fan's improvement in cultivation, has also been upgraded to the level of a 7th order primary Warcraft. After receiving Xiao Fan's instructions, he entered the awakening pool without any hesitation. Almost an hour later, Xiao Jin finished awakening, but as Xiao Fan expected, he directly awakened the dapping bloodline. After awakening his bloodline, Xiao Jin can switch between the two forms of the golden-winged dapping eagle and the dapping bird at will. In addition, Xiao Jin has also awakened a devouring ability, which can enhance his strength by devouring various magic beasts, demon beasts, etc. Even human strongmen can also be devoured and refined by Xiao Jin. After both the man and the beast awakened, Xiao Fan returned to the inn room from the Yuanqi Tower and fell asleep. In the next few days, Xiao Fan did not rush to sign into the world of the twin dragons of the Tang dynasty. Every morning, he took Xiao Wu and Xiaoxiao to the Magic Beast Mountain range to search for natural materials and treasures, and returned to King Shantown at night. As for noon, he directly used local materials in the Magic Beast Mountain range to cook food. Of course, it was not always Xiao Fan who did it. Sometimes Xiaoxiao would also cook. When Xiaoxiao watched Xiao Fan eat the food she made without any precautions, she felt even warmer in her heart and became closer to Xiao Fan. In his spare time, Xiao Fan would also tell Xiaoxiao and Xiao Wu about novels such as The Deer and the Cauldron. As for why we talked about The Deer and the Cauldron instead of The Return of the Condor Heroes, those who understand will understand. In the blink of an eye, the 7 days agreed upon with Xiaoxiao had passed. On the evening of the 7th day, the three of them returned to King Shantown again. After distributing the spiritual medicines as in the previous days, Xiao Fan smiled and said, "Thank you for these days, otherwise, some of the spiritual medicines might have been wasted by me." Xiaoxiao gently lifted her hair and shook her head, saying, "I am the one who took advantage. The harvest in these 7 days is equivalent to what I harvested in the past 3 or 4 years. If I could have your strong strength someday, I could pick herbs at will in the Monster Mountain range. That would be great." Xiao Fan smiled and said, "With your qualifications, it won't take long for you to reach my current level. Of course, I will definitely be stronger by then." Xiaoxiao smiled faintly when she heard this. "I hope so." Xiao Fan said, "Today is the last day. How about we go to the restaurant to have a good meal together to celebrate the harvest in the past few days?" "Okay." Xiaoxiao hesitated for a moment, but still nodded and agreed. Immediately, the three of them found a restaurant in King Shantown for dinner. After dinner, Xiaoxiao suddenly asked, "Are you leaving King Shantown?" Xiao Fan nodded slightly. "I'm going home. My home is in Yuten City, Jiama Empire. You are always welcome to visit my home. When you arrive in Yuten City, you can ask anyone where the Xiao family is." "Yuten City, Xiao family? If I have a chance, I will go there," Xiaoxiao repeated softly, and then said, "It's getting late. I'll go back to Wanyaozhai first." "Okay." Xiao Fan nodded slightly and watched Xiaoxiao leave. "Let's go back to the inn too," Xiao Fan said to Xiao Wu after Xiaoxiao left. "Yeah." Xiao Wu nodded slightly and followed Xiao Fan to the inn. As Xiao Fan walked, he casually asked, "Xiao Wu, do you want to go to Yuten City with me to play for a while, or are you going to return to Buo continent?" Xiao Wu was silent for a while after hearing what Xiao Fan said, and then said, "I don't have any relatives in Buo continent anymore. I don't know where to go if I go back to Buo continent." Xiao Fan smiled and said, "In that case, Why don't you just stay in Qi continent and go back to Zhao's house with me and treat Zhao's house as your home? Zhao Wu whispered. Is it okay? What's wrong with that? It's settled. Seeing Zhao Wu's look, Xiao Fan made a decision directly. While they were talking, they had already returned to the inn, and then they went back to their rooms to rest. On the other side, Wan Yaozhai, after Xiaoxian returned to her room, she sat on a chair, staring at the sky outside the window, slightly dazed. Miss Xiaoxian, what's wrong? Are you worried about something? Next to Xiaoxian, a woman dressed as a maid looked at Xiaoxian's appearance and asked with a smile. This woman is Xiaoxian's assistant in Wan Yaozhai. Her name is Leaf. Xiaoxian said slowly. Leaf, what do you think the outside world is like? Leaf's eyes flickered when she heard Xiaoxian's words, and she chuckled. Are you going to leave Qingshan town? Are you leaving with that Mr. Zhao? Xiaoxian shook her head slightly. I just want to travel around Qi continent in the future. Leaf didn't believe Xiaoxian's words in her heart, but she said, wouldn't it be nice to stay in Qingshan town and live a stable life? Xiaoxian shook her head slightly and said nothing more. Seeing this, Leaf said softly, it's getting late. I won't disturb you. You can call me anytime if you need anything. Okay. Xiaoxian nodded in response, but her mind was still flying far away. Leaf left the room and closed the door from the outside. The smile on her face disappeared immediately, and she hurried to the room of the master of Wan Yaozhai with a gloomy face. What? You said that Xiaoxian is going to leave Qingshan town? Yao Q and Shan, the master of Wan Yaozhai, heard Leaf's report, and his face changed slightly. Leaf said, from what she said, I'm afraid she has made an appointment with that Zhao and will leave tomorrow. They agreed to collect herbs together for 7 days. Yao Q and Shan's face turned cold when he heard it. No, we can't let Xiaoxian leave like this. Let the wolf-head mercenary group deal with her. As for Xiaoxian, with the means of our Wan Yaozhai, it's easy to capture her. Yao Q and Shan gave a few more instructions, sent Leaf away, and then began to make intensive preparations. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49, The Crisis of Little Medical Fairy. Although the time is different from the original, and things have changed because of Xiao Fan's appearance, Xiaoxian's assistant Leaf still betrayed her as in the original. Not only Yao Q and Shan, the master of Wan Yaozhai, but also Mu Li, the young leader of the wolf-head mercenary group, got a lot of information about Xiaoxian from Leaf. Xiaoxian trusted this assistant Leaf very much, although she didn't tell Leaf all the gains she and Xiao Fan had made. The bits and pieces that were accidentally leaked had already made Leaf jealous. As for the fact that Xiaoxian and Xiao Fan agreed to go to the Warcraft mountain range to collect herbs for 7 days, it was not a secret. Leaf easily found out by asking indirectly. Xiaoxian didn't care too much about it. After all, every time she went out to collect herbs before, she would roughly explain the time. Xiaoxian even occasionally gave Leaf some benefits. Compared with the part Xiao Fan gave her, it was really just a little bit. However, Xiaoxian never thought that her most trusted assistant Leaf would betray her for the sake of profit. Yao Q and Shan got in touch with the wolf-head mercenary group, and there was also the shadow of Leaf. As the owner of Wan Yaozhai, Yao Q and Shan was also an old fox. Before Yao Q and Shan was ready to take action against Xiaoxian and Xiao Fan, he sent people to inquire about the situation. From the mercenaries of the Blood Battle mercenary group, Yao Q and Shan's people found out that Xiao Fan had a powerful monster mount. Therefore, for the sake of caution, Yao Q and Shan planned to let the wolf-head mercenary group deal with Xiao Fan, while they, Wan Yaozhai, dealt with the weaker Xiaoxian. Not long after, the wolf-head mercenary group also received news that Xiaoxian was about to leave Qingshan town. If it were in the past, they certainly didn't care whether Xiaoxian left or not. But now it's different. Mu Li learned from Leaf that Xiaoxian not only had extremely valuable spiritual medicines harvested in the past few days, but also seemed to have obtained advanced fighting skills in a cave before. How could they let Xiaoxian take these things away? Dad, Let's go to the inn and capture that kid named Xiao. He must have more elixirs than little medical fairy." At the headquarters of the Wolfhead mercenary group, after Muli received the news, an anxious look appeared on his face, and he said to his father Mushi. Mushi shook his head slightly when he heard it. "No hurry, let's wait and see." Muli asked puzzledly, "What are you waiting for? If you wait any longer, they will leave Qingshan town tomorrow." Mushi smiled faintly. "You are still too young and too impulsive. Do you think that old man Yao Yuanshan doesn't know that the guy surnamed Zhao has more spiritual medicines on him? Why didn't he choose to attack the guy surnamed Zhao, but let us deal with him?" Muli said. "Why?" Mushi narrowed his eyes slightly. "Because Yao Yuanshan knows that the guy surnamed Zhao is not simple. These 2 days, I also asked the people in the group to investigate the guy surnamed Zhao, and got some information from the Blood Battle Mercenary Group. More than 10 days ago, the people of the Blood Battle Mercenary Group escorted Xiaoxiao to the Magic Beast Mountain Range to collect herbs. They were besieged by the Gale Wolves and almost couldn't come back. It was the guy surnamed Zhao who saved them. Let's not talk about how strong the guy surnamed Zhao is. His magic beast is at least a 2nd level advanced strength, and it's a flying magic beast." Muli was slightly startled when he heard this. "If that's the case, if that Zhao guy escapes on a flying monster, won't we get nothing?" Mushi shook his head. "You're still thinking too shallowly. That Zhao guy might be hard to deal with. Let's wait and see what happens at Wanyaozhai. Then we can call the people of that old man Yao Yuanshan and go deal with that Zhao guy together." Muli said with some dissatisfaction. "Dad, you're too cautious." Mushi said indifferently, "It's always right to be careful." The night deepened. The noisy Qingshan town also fell into silence. Wanyaozhai. After Leaf left, Xiaoxiao was in a daze for a while, then went to bed and fell asleep. At this moment, she had already fallen asleep. Xiaoxiao, who was sleeping, suddenly frowned, and then suddenly turned over and sat up, with a cold look in his eyes, because Xiaoxiao sensed the smell of poison. If it were an ordinary person, they would naturally not be able to sense the poison in their sleep, but Xiaoxiao was a poisonous body, so she was more sensitive to poison. Under the stimulation of the poison, Xiaoxiao soon woke up. Xiaoxiao tidied up her clothes, walked quietly to the back of the door, and waited for the moment when the door opened. It should be almost done. Half an hour has passed, and Xiaoxiao is now afraid that she has no power to resist. At this time, a familiar voice came from outside the door. It was her, Leaf. Hearing that voice, Xiaoxiao easily recognized the identity of the person, and her heart suddenly felt uncomfortable. She thought that Wanyaozhai had encountered an external enemy, and she never thought that the one who poisoned her would be Leaf, whom she trusted wholeheartedly. "It's almost done, go in. Remember not to hurt Xiaoxiao's life." Xiaoxiao was thinking in her heart, and heard a familiar voice again. It was the voice of Yao Yuanshan, the owner of Wanyaozhai. Squeak! Xiaoxiao didn't have time to think about it, and heard a light sound from the door, and it was opened from the outside. Sensing someone coming in, Xiaoxiao immediately waved her hand and sprinkled the poison powder she carried with her for self-defense. "Oh no, it's poisonous!" A cry of surprise rang out, and then with a thump, the 2 strong men fell heavily to the ground. Xiaoxiao shook her head slightly, feeling a little sorry that the 2 ordinary guards in Wanyaozhai were poisoned by her. Outside the door, Yao Yuanshan laughed. "Xiaoxiao, you really have some tricks." "It seems that my caution is right." Yao Yuanshan knew that Xiaoxiao was a powerful doctor. Since ancient times, medicine and poison have been inseparable, so it is normal for her to master some methods of using poison, so he did not go into the room directly. The little medical fairy said coldly, "Mr. Yao, what do you mean? Why are you plotting against me?" Yao Yuanshan said with a smile, "As the saying goes, money moves people's hearts, and what you got is not ordinary money. Hand over the precious elixirs you have harvested these days, and the skills you got in the cave in the Monster Mountain Range, and you will still be a guest of honor in my Wanyaozhai in the future." The little medical fairy said, "Okay, Mr. Yao, come in and get them." Yao Yuanshan shook his head slightly when he heard it. "Little medical fairy, do you take me for a fool? How about this? I'll let Leaf go in and tie you to the chair. Don't resist." and then I will go in myself." A cold light flashed in the little medical fairy's eyes, and she said lightly, "Okay, let her in." Outside the door, Leaf's face changed drastically at this moment. "Mr. Yao, can I not go in? The little medical fairy must hate me to death now. If I go in, she will definitely poison me." Yao Yuanzhang's face darkened. "Didn't you say you were loyal to me? Why, now you don't even listen to me? Do you want to join the wolf-head mercenary group? Either you go in by yourself, or—" Yao Yuanzhang didn't finish the rest of his words, but Leaf already understood what he meant, so she had to tremble and said, I'll go in." Then, Leaf carefully said to the room, "Xiaoxiao, I'm in. Please don't poison me, I'm just following orders." As she spoke, Leaf carefully walked into the room. As Leaf entered the room, Yao Yuanzhang immediately winked at the guards behind him, signaling them to follow Leaf. Xiaoxiao wanted Leaf to die immediately, so how could he not poison her? As soon as Leaf entered the room, Xiaoxiao sprinkled a handful of poison powder on her. "Ah, it hurts so much, it itches so much. Xiaoxiao, please spare me." Leaf screamed in pain, scratching her face with both hands, and soon her face was covered with blood. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. At this moment, several attacks came simultaneously from the door of the room and quickly attacked Xiaoxiao. Chapter 50 Swallow the poison and arrive in time. In the original novel, Yao Yuanzhang also wanted to attack Xiaoxiao and seize the skills and other treasures that Xiaoxiao had obtained in the cave, but the method used at the beginning was relatively mild. He just put Xiaoxiao under house arrest, used coercion and inducement, and gave Xiaoxiao time to poison Wanyao's high. Now, because he learned that Xiaoxiao was leaving in a hurry, Yao Yuanzhang had no preparation and had to choose to take force. Instead, he caught Xiaoxiao off guard. Yao Yuanzhang had a lot of guards under his command, but Xiaoxiao had limited poison powder in his hands. After poisoning more than a dozen guards and Wanyao's high in succession, Xiaoxiao ran out of poison powder and had to fight hand-to-hand with the remaining guards. Unfortunately, Xiaoxiao had practiced the seven-colored poison sutra for too short a time, and his cultivation was only a mere fighter. In hand-to-hand combat, he was no match for Yao Yuanzhang's guards. Yao Yuanzhang said with a smile, "Xiaoxiao, as long as you stop obediently, hand over the spiritual medicine and skills you have obtained these days, and then detoxify everyone, I promise that I will not hurt you at all. If you really want to leave, I will not stop you. Dream on." Xiaoxiao responded coldly, and suddenly retreated into the room. Yao Yuanzhang led people to guard the door, but he didn't expect that Xiaoxiao not only did not rush out, but retreated instead. For a while, he didn't stop her. After retreating into the room, Xiaoxiao directly took out a black spiritual medicine from the bedside, without any hesitation, chewed it into pieces and swallowed it into his stomach. Yao Yuanzhang frowned slightly. "Xiaoxiao, do you think you can turn the tables just by swallowing a spiritual medicine? I don't believe that any spiritual medicine can make your cultivation soar instantly." Xiaoxiao had a blank expression on her face and did not respond to Yao Yuanzhang's words. She said coldly to the people in Wanyao's high at the door, "If you are not afraid of death, just stop me." After that, Xiaoxiao picked up a bag and walked to the door. At this time, Xiaoxiao's lips turned black. Not only her lips, but her entire face, as well as the parts exposed to the air, all turned black, and she looked like she was poisoned. There is no doubt that what Xiaoxiao just took was a poison, and it was a high-grade poison. This is a way for Xiaoxiao to temporarily improve her strength that she learned from the seven-colored poison sutra. This poison can not only improve her strength, but also turn her into a poison person. Anyone who touches her will be poisoned by her. This method can only be used by the evil poison body. Moreover, Xiaoxiao was not feeling well at this time. She felt that her meridians seemed to be burst by the powerful energy full of poison, and the feeling of her body being corroded by the poison was not good. Playing tricks, come together, try not to have physical contact with her. Yao Yuanzhang looked at Xiaoxiao's appearance, and suddenly had a bad premonition in his heart, but he did not show it on his face, and shouted to the remaining guards. Upon hearing this, Several guards of Wanyaozhai also attacked Xiaoxian again. Bang bang bang. However, this time, they were no longer Xiaoxian's opponent. A series of dull sounds rang out, and the last few guards brought by Yao Yuanshan to intercept Xiaoxian were all knocked out by Xiaoxian. What shocked Yao Yuanshan even more was that as soon as they landed on the ground, their bodies began to turn black, and they soon died of poisoning. Yao Yuanshan's face changed drastically when he saw this. She did not expect that Xiaoxian's strength had not only improved a lot, but the attacks she launched casually were actually poisonous. For the sake of his own life, Yao Yuanshan did not make contact with Xiaoxian. He took out a long knife from his ring, held it horizontally in front of him, and said coldly, "I didn't expect the poison you just took was so toxic. I'm afraid you can't hold on for long," Xiaoxian said coldly. "Before that, I can kill you first." Yao Yuanshan smiled, "But I don't believe it." Next, Yao Yuanshan just blocked Xiaoxian's side, but did not take the initiative to attack. As long as Xiaoxian was about to go out, he would use the long knife to attack. There were several times when Xiaoxian almost hit Yao Yuanshan, but Yao Yuanshan directly used the guard who had fainted before as a human shield to block Xiaoxian's attack for him. Gradually, the toxicity in Xiaoxian's body became more and more severe, and her body could not bear it. Although Xiaoxian can improve her strength by swallowing poison, she can only take lower-grade poisons at this stage. The poison she just swallowed has exceeded her tolerance limit. If she could calm down and use the method recorded in the 7-colored poison scripture to refine and absorb the poison, it would be fine. Unfortunately, she has no chance to refine the poison now. The powerful poison continues to destroy Xiaoxian's body. Even if she is a body of evil poison, she can't bear it. "Mr. Yao, your Wanyaozhai seems to be a little bit bad." At this time, Mu Shi, the leader of the Wolf-Head mercenary group, appeared in the sight of Xiaoxian and Mr. Yao with a group of people from the Wolf-Head mercenary group. When Xiaoxian saw the people from the Wolf-Head mercenary group coming and heard Mu Shi's words, she suddenly felt a little desperate. If it was just Yao Yuanshan alone, she might still have a chance to rush out, but now with these people from the Wolf-Head mercenary group, she is afraid that she will not be able to escape tonight. At this time, Xiaoxian suddenly thought of Xiao Fan, wondering if he would occasionally think of her in the future. When Yao Yuanshan saw the arrival of the Wolf-Head mercenary group, his face changed slightly. "Why are you coming to Wanyaozhai instead of dealing with that Zhao?" Wanyaozhai suffered heavy losses. If the Wolf-Head mercenary group took advantage of the situation, it would be really dangerous for him. When Xiaoxian heard what Yao Yuanshan said, she couldn't help but reveal a sarcasm in her eyes. With these mobs, they wanted to deal with Mr. Zhao. They really didn't know how to live or die. Mu Shi said lightly, "I was thinking that after Wanyaozhai captured Xiaoxian, I would go with Mr. Yao to capture Zhao. I didn't expect Wanyaozhai to be so unbearable. It's really disappointing. I heard that you are looking for me." At this moment, a faint voice suddenly sounded in everyone's ears. When the voice fell, Xiao Fan's figure appeared silently in everyone's sight. Seeing Xiao Fan coming, Xiaoxian was immediately refreshed and felt relieved. Mu Shi and Yao Yuanshan's expressions changed slightly, and they looked at Xiao Fan with some vigilance. They didn't sense any breath at all, and Xiao Fan suddenly appeared, which made them feel a strong fear of Xiao Fan's strength. "Can you still hold on?" Xiao Fan walked to Xiaoxian's side, and seeing that Xiaoxian was in a bad state, he asked with concern. Xiaoxian just uttered a word, and then her eyes went black, and her body suddenly fell forward. Seeing this, Xiao Fan quickly reached out to support Xiaoxian. "Don't touch me, I'm poisoned." Xiaoxian saw Xiao Fan trying to support her, and she didn't know where the strength came from in her heart. She quickly stood up and took a step back. "Don't worry, this little poison can't do anything to me." Xiao Fan smiled slightly, and still reached out to support Xiaoxian's shoulder. "Go to hell." At this moment, a gloomy voice sounded, and at the same time, a long sword suddenly stabbed towards Xiao Fan's back. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone, see you in the next video.